child in Valorant has heard the tale before about the cursed mummy boy who felt his heart no more. So sad and lorn, the helpless lad, Amumu was his name. He ventured out to find a friend and learn about his bane. For many years, young Amumu traveled through the lands, determined to make friends if only they would understand. But even when Amumu stood upon the ledge of home, his hope would disappoint him and he would remain alone. But then the curse began to whisper in his ear. It would confirm what was Amumu's biggest fear. It pledged that never shall someone become his friend. It pledged that he shall be alone until his end. Sorrow and despair became too much to bear. The moment when Amumu realized what he had done, too late it was for him, for them, the evil curse had won. The anger and the anguish overwhelmed his fragile soul and caused a wicked tantrum that he never could control.
In this week's Meta Recap, we're heading to Western Australia and Victoria. Let's get into it. First up in Victoria, we saw Melbourne High School Black versus Hunting Tower School. Hunting Tower's J4 jungle made an early dash to the bot lane, but was not able to lock down the MHS duo. This allowed Rek'Sai to invade, taking the enemy red buff and picking up first blood in the top lane. After some more successful ganks from the Void Borrower and a successful early Ocean Drake, Melbourne High School looked on track to take out the game. Hunting Tower held on, but a catch on Poppy and J4 in the mid lane meant Baron for MHS Black, closing out the game at the 28-minute mark. Also in the Victorian Open Division, the Australian International Academy came away with the win against one of the Yarra Valley teams in an intense back-and-forth game. Next, over to Western Australia, where Willetton Senior High Hibiki FC went up against Southern River College Blue. The action started quick, with first blood picked up by the Willetton bot duo of Thresh and Callista. They backed that up with a gank from Lee Sin soon after, picking up a double kill. Hibiki FC set about extending their lead, picking up an early Mountain Drake, but Southern River College responded at the 10-minute mark with Lysandra teleporting bot to shut down the 4-0 bot duo. A gold lead tug-of-war ensued, swinging back and forth between the two teams until J4 dove a little too far in the mid lane and WSHS punished. And although they grabbed a Baron and then lost it, they took a second and closed the game out in just over 37 minutes. Looking over the WA standings, WSHS, Hibiki FC and UFCC LOL sit atop, tied for first with undefeated records. UFCC attained theirs in a hard-fought match against UFXD Lameo from Joseph Banks Secondary College. Thanks for tuning in to Week 3. You can find the full standings for all Meta High School esports regions at metahsc.gg under the leagues page.
Hey there OPL fans, Super Week is come and gone, and with it some of the best plays we've seen all split. So many in fact that we couldn't decide on a single one to showcase. This is the double banger with cheese. First up, victory in a must-win match for Order. Locked in a back-and-forth battle with Gravitas, Order's ADC dream seemed caught up by Raid for a moment. But what's that in the sky? It's a bird. It's a plane. No, wait. It's a Galio J4 Wombo combo.
And in goes the Galio. The shutdown is real. Order, they're gonna get the fight. And they're heading for the Baron. And that's just 3 kills pretty much instantly.
What Order lacked in golden tempo, they made up for in pure combo awesomeness. Taking the fight, then the Baron, and then the Nexus.
In Order, triumph in their final game of the regular split.
Next up, a play that made so many waves, NA had to issue a tsunami warning. In a surprisingly close bout with Legacy, Mammoth lost a hard contested Baron to a steal from Guts Rek'Sai. But in swoop triple and with the rest of the team at his back, the star Mammoth mid laner picked up the first pentakill of this year's OPL.
Great is coming up with a kill. However, they're losing members. It's triple, getting himself a triple and a quadra kill to close it out.
And I said I would take the easy, and it's a pentakill for triple. What a team fight from Mammoth, and they will stream down mid lane and win this game.
And that was our double banger. Don't forget to tune in this Thursday, 4 p.m. AEDT, as the McDonald's Gauntlet series kicks off. This was not in my contract. There's an epidemic sweeping Oceania.
Looking to possibly turn this fight. In goes Tapu. He gets it. The steal. Mammoth take away the Baron.
One that statistically 1 in 4 teams will experience.
The tower is going to be there, and into the darkness they go.
They get it.
Stolen away by Sway. One attempt by Sway to steal it away. You gotta be kidding me.
I'm of course talking about loss of Baron. Hello, I'm Dr. Pyra, here to talk to you about loss of Baron. It is a serious condition that if left untreated can lead to lost games, frustrated teammates, and Twitter drama. Fortunately, there is a solution. We here at the OPL have developed a revolutionary cure. Smite. Smite is small, portable, and it contains 2 charges that deal true damage, allowing you to secure neutral objectives. And best of all, Smite is 100% covered by Medicare. Ask your jungler if Smite is right for you.
For centuries they have fought, but today we settle it once and for all at the 2019 Summoner Sweeties Pet Show. I'm your host, Mick Michaels.
And I'm also here.
All right, everybody, let's hit the show floor. Starting off for the dogs, here's Fizz with his trademark playful pizzazz.
There he goes. Oh, man, such a treat.
Stunning. The crowd is loving the dogs.
You don't see that every day.
Well, let's see if the cats can keep up.
Wow, that guy's in a catsuit.
Oh, astounding. I'll tell you, if the cats can keep this up, they just might snatch the title. And here comes Corky.
Okay, sorry, just why is that dog a plane?
Oh, gorgeous. Oh, and a little something for the crowd. Oh, this guy is a pleaser.
Look at him go. He is working it.
Cats have one final shot at the Golden Sweeties Trophy. Oh, wow, a live hunting display. Let's see where this one goes.
Yes, Rainbow Roar.
Oh, and the big finale. He's going for it. He is in!
Oh, he fits, so he sits.
Let me tell you, the cats and dogs left it all on the show floor, and it's going to be tough, but only one side can win.
Well, they're all winners if you ask me, Mick.
Sure. And your 2019 Summoner Sweeties Pet Show champions are by a whisker. Oh, hang on. There appears to be some commotion.
No, it can't be. Tell my family I'm...
We don't believe in labels at Macca's, like dinner or breakfast, so we're getting rid of them. Now you can enjoy dinner or breakfast whenever you want it. McDonald's all-day menu, available 24/7.
Shut down! Lloyd's alive, he's burning up! Claire, that was beautiful! They needed a miracle, he gave them everything and more. And that's the double kill for the bait! Baby, they clean up! Shockwave will pull in the Zillion, but they just can't kill it.
Pyra, I have no idea what the heck is going on.
And Chiefs have completely turned this on its head. Mammoth losing 3 in the blink of an eye.
Oh my.
That's blood. He does get a massive stun, and that turns it right around. That's the last breath, and Chiefs are looking for the big V here with the Quadra at 13 minutes. And in goes the Galio, the shutdown is real. Order, they're gonna get the fights, and they're heading for the Baron.
Oh!
To steal it away? You gotta be kidding me. Chaos all over the place, the Chaos Storm to boot. He's taking out the double kill, and that's an 8. Fight available for the team, but he's got a Viper! What a shockwave! Triple, getting himself a triple and a quadra kill! They cement their legacy as the OPL Kings!
Hello and welcome to day 3 of the 2019 OPL Gauntlet Split 1 Gauntlet, proudly brought to you by the wonderful people at McDonald's. I am Nick Boy Richardson, and I am joined by my 2 favorite people currently sitting on this couch.
Thanks, bud.
How are you, Spawn and Ejim?
I'm pretty good. I feel like I had a pretty good sleep. I don't know about the rest of the people on the couch, but I'm feeling nice and refreshed, ready for a good day.
He doesn't even know how he slept.
Yeah.
I really don't. I have no idea because I thought I slept really nicely.
What does that even mean?
And now I am just so tired. We went rock climbing this morning though. That was good.
Yeah, we
We
did.
sat down. We had
Did
brekkie.
you?
Yes.
Do you know for brekkie, this guy gets a burger and chips.
Okay, it happened once, and I'm ashamed of it, but look, it was a good time.
Was this before or after climbing the rocks?
After. You can't have a burger and then go climb some rocks.
I assume, after climbing.
It was also like 1 p.m. I'm telling a very small amount of the story.
But no, we also definitely got there. I'm like, Jake, let's go rock climbing this morning. And
like,
he's
"Oh,
like,
yeah,
hell
brother."
yeah, brother, let's go. We get there. Oh, it's just bloody packed. There's people everywhere.
The kiddies. Like there were so many under 12 rock climbers, which I didn't have a problem with.
They're OP.
Until they started climbing in the walls. And let me tell you, they put their power to weight ratio is insane. And their little fingers just grip everything.
Kids are great climbers and great skiers. Because with skiing, their center of gravity is like that far off the ground. You can't knock them over, and I've tried.
Your center of gravity is just really high.
Did you do that one? Where you hang?
Well,
that climb?
No, the thing is we actually bolded because we were so busy we didn't top rope.
What's bowling?
It's shorter, you have no rope,
It's much harder.
and it's like more grippy.
I don't know if I
like,
trust you after the whole breakfast thing.
less brute force.
Yep.
Yeah.
More technique required, which means we're less able to do anything.
We belay each other. So we can cheat a lot. Not saying we would cheat.
Just lifting them up.
Yeah. Not saying we would cheat, but I have been rock climbing with people in the past. And they look down at you and they go, might need a little bit of help with this bit. And it's like, all right, I got you covered. Whereas people that like free climb, like they get no help.
Yeah. They're
I
actually
guess
good.
this was an appropriate thing for you guys to be doing this morning because Order have a mountain to climb themselves.
Yes, they do.
Oh, baby, because they are coming up against the Chiefs. Nigh unstoppable.
Yeah. They have looked nigh unstoppable. I think in the last couple of weeks, Chiefs have honestly probably looked like the best team in the OPL.
Better than Bombers?
Bombers, a little bit of a form slip, and I feel like Chiefs have been on the up and up as their season progresses. I mean, taking a look at the Gauntlet, right? I took a look at all these teams, and I'm like Mammoth Order, this game could go either way. I think probably either team would have a slight edge over AV, but looking at Bombers and Chiefs, they're just that step above.
Yeah.
And then I'm coming into today being like, maybe that isn't the case anymore. Order, Gauntlet buff is certainly on the rise, and they've just been climbing it up and up.
Whilst Order's on the rise, like the Chiefs this whole year have been really good. They did lose to Order once at the start of the season. That was when they picked Vayne mid. I don't think they're going to take another Vayne mid game. And Order was able to swing that one around. But either of the other games they won, they just had early game control and were able to use a lot of that priority to beat Order around the map. So, Order's playing better League of Legends at the moment. I think this is the best League of Legends they've played all season long. Is it going to be enough for the Chiefs? I'm not convinced just yet.
Bryce, what is the Chiefs' mindset when you see a team coming at you through Gauntlet? That they've made it through every round so far?
What happened when Sin was coming at you like a freight train, Brick?
I actually feel like quite nervous, especially given the history between these two teams. Like Spook, Swiffer, you have Raze and Swiper on the other side of the coin, and look, I'm involved in a couple of group chats here and there. I see Swiper sending a couple of messages like, come on, boys, I believe in you. I think you can do it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's like, I don't believe in you anymore. Stop doing it. This is looking like a bit of a roughie. And I mean, we kind of always have this conversation where I think like, of course there is a risk in playing more Gauntlet games. If you lose, you're out, but you do get that momentum buff that Order now have in their hands. And Chiefs have just been sitting there watching that build, and they haven't played League of Legends all week. They've just been sitting back. They have a lot of film to go over, a lot of film to watch, but sitting there coming in dry, whereas Order have had that huge warm-up, I feel like isn't a good place, and that's where Swiper's head will be specifically.
So I want to ask this, right, because I have an opinion, obviously, but maybe I'm just absolutely biased, like, pink-coloured glasses on, has Order given much away this Gauntlet run?
A little bit. Not the most. They've played a bunch of Scion games. They've played, the thing is, Order aren't a fancy team.
Yeah, that's...
They play standard League of Legends, and this is the best standard League of Legends they have played all year. Yes, Kale was something.
What is he doing?
I
what
have literally
idea. We have to get him checked out after Gauntlet.
He is going to hate that he's on camera right now. That's really funny. But Order haven't actually shown a whole lot. But I don't know if Order are a team with a lot to show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they play standard stuff. It has
why
looked successful, but Chiefs are kind of similar.
So my thing would be, like, if you got Avant to run 9 games or something like that, right? Maybe they go 5-4, something like that. I'm like, Avant has to give away a lot. When I look at Order, it's like they're just picking the same stuff every single game. Their bans... they've banned Thresh Lucian every single game. And then they've just tweaked the third ban. Like, I don't know if this is a team where you look at and you're like, oh yeah, we didn't know what was coming and now we do know what was coming. I think that that's not the case. And the one player I think that does have surprises for Order overall is kind of Jimmy or Tally. Yep. And I think that Doss still probably wouldn't know what's coming off the back end of that because he has played a lot of Scion. He's seen the Kale, but we still haven't seen the Hecker and we haven't seen Urgot top. Like, there's a couple of other things I think in there that we haven't seen James play yet. That man on your screen, I know he doesn't like playing Tally. Back from 2014, Swiper didn't like playing against Tally. Yep. I think this is going to be a really fun series against 2 of the premier top laners in the OPL.
But I also feel like Swiper is the kind of guy that it doesn't really matter what he's playing against. Because he doesn't get a lot of counter pick options. He doesn't have a really wide champion pool, and you blind pick something into him and he's like, I've got this. He's just like, these are my 5 champs. I'm gonna play them. Even if the matchup's good, if the matchup's bad, he's a very good negative player. And honestly, I feel like the big thing coming into this game for me is the other side of the map. Because in terms of bottom lanes in the Gauntlet, what has played, Order, they're stepping up massively. You look at King and Destiny, I think they certainly did underperform a lot. Whereas then you have Gunkrab Aladoric. they are a rookie bottom lane coming into this split.
Yep.
I feel like Raze and Ayla probably look like one of the best bottom lanes in the OPL, and I feel like this is going to be a true test where like Jake and Dream have stepped up a bunch, but this will be a whole different beast.
I absolutely agree. Well, we need to get to the games very shortly, but before we do, the tips.
Oh,
This is all. This
Let's
is very
wait
telling.
for the bandwagon to empty. Everyone get out.
It
Get
was-
out of the bandwagon.
It was almost all order. Oh God, I'm stuck on the wagon. With everyone, I mean, 3-2 almost entirely across the board. Rusty and Pyro, I think we're only going to see 4 games tonight. I'm sticking with order because I am a big believer in momentum. I've seen it enough in sports across the world that you start getting that ball rolling, and sometimes it can be hard to stop. And then obviously, Ejim, Rusty, and Pirate think that the Chiefs can do enough to stop that rolling ball. Let's find out as we get into the McDonald's Champ Select for game number 1 with your casters, Pirate and Rusty.
Thank you very much, Nick Boy. We're ready to get underway here, and it has been a hell of a run so far for Order. We will see if they can keep it going for the time being. I mean, that's a lot of a momentum swing for them.
Absolutely. Momentum's such a big deal in Gauntlet runs like this. Order definitely on the up and up. They've continued to impress us, and like the couch mentions, it's through that standard play style. You know, they didn't start with a lead in every single game they've played so far in the Gauntlet. They have been challenged, they have been pushed and tested, but they continue to come back and bounce back, and their resolve is strong. So Order, we know what they are. They're a very known quantity. What we have to look at is the opposing side right now in the Chiefs. First of all, chosen red side Pyra for this first game against Order, and they've spent a lot of time now watching their opponents, studying them through pick, ban, and play as to how can we beat them.
Let's see how well that homework bears fruit here for the Chiefs Esports Club, who have had a monster run in the OPL themselves, so they certainly were able to watch and wait while this Gauntlet run has gone underway. But we are into the McDonald's champion selection. No changes in the bans from the Order side. Of course, Lucian Thresh has been a mainstay whenever Order are on the blue side.
Yeah.
Silas also rocking that ban list. And there is the Kale Bandit Way. We wondered if this was going to come in because Tally put on a masterclass yesterday with it.
Yeah, and around the world, Kale's absolutely cropping up to be a pretty significant deal here, and Rise also going to be taken away on the blue side here by Order is something that does raise some eyebrows. Usually Rise is one of those champions on the blue side of Summoner's Rift that you will first pick because it's one of the best and universally most flexible champions. But what we know from Order is that they'll probably go for the Rakan if the Morgana's banned. They'll probably go for the Morgana if the Card's banned, vice versa.
Yeah, Dream and Jake do love the Lovers bot lane. They should be able to pick up at least one half of it. The question is, are they confident in pairing something else with it? Instead, they value the Xayah more. Now, this begs the question, does Ayla take it away?
Yeah, this is actually one of those niche circumstances. Jake can go for the Rakan, sure, but Raze is the Xayah guy. He doesn't care if Rakan's there. He will play Xayah. He's just that confident on the champion.
She's a strong, independent bird woman. She don't need no man.
Yeah, and of course, if you're good individually at it, you'll get a good laning phase naturally with the right support, and your team fighting is going to be fantastic. So the Chiefs, they see that. Of course, they break them up.
All right, so Ayla, rookie support player coming up from Chiefs Academy this split. He's had a solid run paired with Quinny K in that bottom lane.
God, yeah.
And we'll see what he does on the Rakan and what they pair it with. Will they flesh out their bot lane entirely?
I feel like that's not how you flesh it out.
That's a bit of a troll there. Hey, Hecarim was let through. We didn't talk about this, but it's been banned pretty consistently, and that's one of those champions that's received a buff on patch 9.6.
I will say that yesterday it wasn't banned in the first 3. You just never saw it picked in the first 3 champions. So what you can take from this is that the Chiefs, through all of their practice and planning, have put a much higher priority on the Hecarim to be able to pick it here, not let it get banned away. And of course, Order going to hover.
I love that hover on
Swiper's
Swiper's sled. Yeah, they will end up locking the Zoe for Swiffer, though, and he's had a pretty decent performance on it. Had a few times yesterday where he was bullied out a little bit, but it didn't matter. The rest of Order just looks so strong. It's still a powerful pick, and they will also add the Braum to the bottom lane for Jake.
And don't be surprised if you get something like a LeBlanc in the mid lane for Claire. He can go for the Orianna as well. We've seen him go for the team fighting options. So really the choice here for the Chiefs is, do they want to go for AD carry and hold mid, which they probably could, but sacrifice 2 bans against the role? Or do they want to show their mid now and sacrifice AD carriers? Honestly, both of them have deep champion pools, and for me it's about either showing their comp or like picking the strongest comp or not revealing anything massive.
Yeah, that is the question. Well, looks like it ends up being the Ezreal locked in, so that's a pretty safe bottom side for the Chiefs already. And we'll see what the next bans come through. Chiefs going to have that first one on the red side.
Ezreal Rakan, not exactly your stock standard bottom lane that you'll see running around, but has got a lot of mobility and definitely still has kill threat when the jungler comes around.
It's true that. Jace banned away, so starting to target out some of those top flexy side pushers, if you will. We already saw the Kale banned away, and I feel like Jace fills a similar kind of niche.
Yeah, Jace one of those champions that can go between solo lanes as well as a potential pick here for Order if they wanted to double flex with their 4-5 picks. Jace also just very good into Hecarim as a 1v1 matchup, so as far as that's concerned, of course, they take away some of the Hecarim counters.
Yeah. The old Hecarim on the top side. And back in the day, you used to run that with the Smite, because you get yourself
well, now it's just Ignite.
Yeah, now you just run the Ignite for the extra kill threat, yeah?
Yeah, you go for Conqueror, Hecarim, and when you run Ignite, you actually still have a whole lot of kill threat, especially in a melee champion. So you see Jace banned away as one of those ranged champions, and that actually does beg the question of Order's priority on the Braum, not going for a top laner in their first 3, as they already shown mid, they really didn't want to get double counted in solo lanes. You want to be very careful about that one.
I think it makes sense. Order definitely want to make sure that they have as many strong lanes as possible for themselves. Their bottom has been pulling more than their fair share of weight as of late, but how they really got to this place, a lot of it was off the back of some strong performances from Tally and Swiffer.
For sure. I think a lot of individual members here actually from Order have started to step up. Swiffer didn't have a very good first day, but looked very good still in the second.
That's true.
He steps up to the plate nice, and Zoe's one of those champions that he can do it on.
All right. Orianna would make a lot of sense here for a safe mid lane pick for Claire. It also pairs really nicely with some of the engage options, but here's another one that we hadn't considered, Cassiopeia, as they cycle through a couple of options. I'm going to wait until Claire actually gets his lock in for it, but there's so many good team fighting choices in this mid lane.
Yeah, Razor's just having a laugh. We're going to get the Corki locked in here. Now, Corki into the Zoe matchup. Corki's actually one of those strong champions because, well, Zoe moves predictably, so Corki can definitely hit damage and hit burst. You could do physical or magic damage as well, depending on the spells that you max. And you can go Hex Drinker if you're losing the game. Yeah. Or you need defensive items immediately, especially if you get ahead. So funny enough, Corki scales with levels.
I think you're talking about Ezreal as well there. Like, there's so many options that the Chiefs actually have with the mixed damage on their compositions.
I feel like, well, yeah, Hecarim has also got a lot of physical damage. Ezreal is maneuverable in the way that he can go for damage output with builds, but no matter what Corki builds, he will deal magic damage as a primary. This is more just through the levels in the early laning phase, how he wants to put that damage out.
So the Urgot comes in for Spooks. He's pretty much been given the Zen Urgot, as he was referring to yesterday, and it's not going to actually be out of the jungle because we've got ourselves a Zac locked in, so that Urgot's going top.
And you can't help but feel like that's so risky to a Hecarim. And the Zac gets locked in with it, one of those champions that does take a little while to scale up into the game. You know, can be impactful early, but every early move you make is a risk. And they've picked the Zac without knowing what their opposing jungler will in fact be. Only could go for a heavy farm jungler if he likes, the Olafs, or he could go the Lee Sins and be aggressive.
Yeah, or the Kindred.
There you go.
There we go. So we can start jumping in a little bit more. There's lots of damage coming out of the Chiefs side. Good engage between the Hecarim and the Rakan as well. So Chiefs definitely came to play in game number 1. How do you like their draft, Rusty?
I'm a fan of the Chiefs draft, and you know they've got engaged, they've got frontline, they've also got 380 carries, however, which is where you may say that's a little bit too much, perhaps slightly overloaded in the ranged attack damage carry department, but the damage is still mixed, and so that's a very good thing for them, and Ezreal doesn't have to explicitly operate as a physical attack damage carry. So this may just be the AP Ezreal build, perhaps coming out of Raze.
Yeah. I mean, considering their top duo, they do have a lot of physical damage between the two of them. So really interesting choices, and you know, that'll be exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing how they all shake out on the Rift. For Order's side, a little bit of a switch up at that last second, switching into Zac when Spooks has been so darn comfortable on this Urgot. What do you make of it?
I mean, I think they just wanted more engage tools. Urgot's not something that does provide engage. Braum is capable, but not a primary engage source, is what you would say, right? And Spooks is comfy on the Zac. It's maybe he is Zen on Urgot, but Zac is still well and truly in the wheelhouse of Spooks, so this isn't something strange for him by any means. And there is a lot of good setup for the Zac to actually get those engages off, you know. Urgot ultimate, Braum Q, Swiffer with a bubble, Zaya has the roots as well, and he's able to play very nicely with the rest of his team.
Well, they certainly have quite a lot of options to play with now. Big old best of 5. The winner of this one ends up making it all the way to the finals. Can Order run the gauntlet, or will Chiefs stop them in their tracks? Talking about the Chiefs' chances here in this first game, we are joined by their coach, Volt. Welcome back to the desk.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent stuff. So you have watched Order climb through the gauntlet so far and really only drop a single game. How are you feeling as the coach of Chiefs, who basically got Order their ticket into the gauntlet?
We're fairly confident. We've seen 7 games of their Gauntlet run, and we also scrimmed them this week, so we have a really good idea of what they're playing. Nothing they've played this game is anything different to what they've played in Gauntlet so far, so we're really, I'd say, over-prepared for this game.
Yeah, and that is one thing that does stand out for me about Order, and it was mentioned even by Spawn. You know, they seem to play the same way every single time, so would you say it's not just that you've seen 7 games in scrims, but you know exactly what to expect anyway? So does this mean you've had more time to prepare your own strategies, specifically against one style?
More time, no, because it's Gauntlet, so we didn't know who we were playing against.
True.
So it's more like last night is like the main prep time that we had, right? Because we don't know who we're playing against. But during the week, yeah, we saw what order we're playing and we knew what we had to answer it with.
So in that regard, since you don't have a whole lot of time to prep for a specific team in mind, did you attempt to make like an educated guess who you thought would be making it through? Was it Order?
We thought it was Mammoth. We were pretty outspoken in the split that we thought Mammoth were top 3. Do you want to?
Yeah, we'll get back to it in a second. Looks like little level 1 start. Swiffer's taking a little low, but only still on the chase here for Chiefs. And cool, thank you for the insight though, Volt. Best of luck to the team.
Thank you very
much. Have to cut that one off. There was a lot that
Yeah, that was almost a first blood. All right, let's break it down a little bit here, Rusty, because that was a bit of a cheeky back and forth, and it was so close to the first blood. Swiper does end up spending his Ignite.
I would have liked to ask Volt a little bit more about this one as we came into it, but of course, you know, these things happen early into the game, so the first thing you have to look at is Swiper has used his Ignite. He's also now about to die.
Yep, shotgun's coming out pretty fast, and that's first blood to Tally. So you said it was risky, but, well, they did take advantage of Swiper being a little low on that level 1 play.
And that's the thing, you know, Tally just cheesed him, and it's not an unexpected cheese. You know, when someone says cheese in League of Legends, they think about no one expects you to do that. But really, Swiper just leashed. Tally was aware there was a fight earlier and that he was missing health, so he walks into the tri-bush to stop him from getting a lane.
It's good game sense in the specific situation that unfolded.
And it picks him up. He gets the first kill. He now has complete lane control. Swiper no teleport Ignite and had to use Corrupting Potion on that last one. So thankfully for Swiper, it is a Corrupting Potion. Yeah. It isn't something like a Doran's Blade or Shield where the real potions are gone, or lane would be much worse.
Well, if there's anybody that is probably not going to be too phased by getting taken down early and having to face off in a lane matchup that he could have expected to win but now might lose, I feel like it is Swiper. There's a reason they call him the Rock in the top lane.
Yeah, but Hecarim isn't a rock of a champion. You know, he's one of those champions that if he doesn't get lane control at all, he can't fight you. You know, by design, of course, this is the first time we've seen Hecarim in Gauntlet, so I will explain a little bit of it. His Q is a stacking spell. And so naturally, if you don't hit it the first time, it takes an extra ramp up, and the cooldown goes down every time you press Q and it hits something. If you don't have control in lane, you just can't do that, right? And if you can't do that, you can't get control in lane. So you just fall behind further.
Bit of a
and
catch
so really,
22.
the way that this lane will start to play out now is slow pushes and resetting of lanes constantly. And if Swiper now gets a wave that builds up for him, pushes back towards Tally, the risk here is that he dies. He has no flash, he's running Ignite, he's running Teleport, and he is behind.
Yeah, it's a bit of a roughie there for the Chiefs top laner. We'll see how the rest of the map starts to fare. I feel like it's pretty safe lanes across the board. A lot of mobility between Claire, Raze, and Ayla.
Yeah, and speaking of Claire, can I just say, he leashed the Scuttle Crab for only, and then walked topside to hit the Scrying Orb for Swiper in the middle of just laning. Like, this guy has been so active right now, 4 minutes into this game, it's unbelievable, for a mid laner just trying to clear waves.
He's really getting it all done, putting in a lot of double time. Ooh, there's the Spell Thief's exhaust. Swiffer having a little bit of fun to chase him back and really pushing the damage on with that Paddle Star. This is Threat of Zoe, even on no items, can still do a lot of harassment.
Oh, certainly, especially when you get those Spell Thieves. You know, a lot of Zoes around the world will put their point in W as their second point so that they get the Spell Thieves, and if RNG's on your side, you win lane. So you take those gambles, and Exhaust is one of those brilliant spells to have against someone like a Corki, who has to stand and face you if he wants to trade against you. So very easy to be able to trade back then.
True. Is keeping up well in farm, though, as you mentioned, despite the fact that he pieced out a lane to go help do a bit of Deletion. Now only is going to try and help out in the top side, but the lane is pushed, so Tally in a much safer position.
But he's here of necessity, right? Like, we just spoke about this. Swiper, if he pushes, he's at risk of dying. He doesn't have the flash, doesn't have the mobility spells, and he has to trade on waves if he wants to push it in. So only presumably just trying to defend Swiper in this instance, saying if the Zac is here, I've got your back. That was the sole purpose of him being there, because he's probably just going to do Krugs and reset afterwards. If he was a jungler that was just about pathing and farming, he would have done Krugs and reset without helping. Would have got tempo, but Swiper may have died, and so they don't want to take that risk.
Might have even been able to get in and take a mark out on the Gromp, but you could see there was Order pinging it because they realized, hey, you know, this is going to be something that we can take away to deny. We don't always talk about it because we don't see Kindreds all the time, but you want to try and deny as many marks as possible on the enemy team.
Oh, certainly. Kindred's game is a mini-game, of course, about getting those marks as fast as possible. 4 stacks, getting the range. It's always going to be a very big deal for a Kindred. So you do have to kind of change your path accordingly every single time you reset. It's hard to do in a competitive game where you've only got limited camps you can take to try and prioritize the marked ones at all.
Sure, that only is down on the bottom side, though, taking away Scuttle Camp. Worth mentioning, the first dragon on the map will be the mountain, so I think both teams pretty keen to get it, but it's a hard to get dragon. It has a pretty hefty amount of HP, so you really need that lane priority to be able to go for it. Ooh, good start here on that bottom side. Dream dishing out as much damage as he's given, and that means that Ayla's forced to get the heal off. Raze has got to flash away as the Ignite is ticking down on him from Jake.
Yeah, Raze actually suffering for Ayla's aggression there. Of course, you've got bot side junglers both here. Only is here. Spooks doesn't know it yet, but you can see the missing pinks on top of his head, so they know he's nearby. No ward does spot him, though.
Looks like they might be tracking each other as well. Claire going to be moving into that jungle to try and get some vision control. It is just a game of wards in and around this jungle entrance for
and here's
both
the
teams.
thing. You know, we've watched Order play a few games now on Summoner's Rift. We know that they're very good at being methodical, just a good standard team. But you look at the Chiefs and you'd say they do the setup the best. As far as the league is concerned, they are the best vision, control, denial, and setup team in general. And Order now have an uphill battle to fight in that regard. So can they get leads, Order, through laning phase? Probably, yeah. Their laning has been fantastic.
Yeah, right now they've kept pace, and then with the first blood, you do see that that's translated into about a 300-400 gold lead. So Chiefs may have cut a tiny bit of that off, but it is still a lead for Order to kick things off. And that's something that's nice to see for this team that's been warming up through the Gauntlet.
And their mid-game is good as well. You know, Order definitely had a good mid-game so far, but when it comes to objectives, can they keep up with the Chiefs' setup is always the question, because that will be the difference maker for me. There are individuals that can step up, sure. Team fighting against the Chiefs is already going to be difficult to do when Raze is playing on Summoner's Rift, but you need to be able to have the vision game down.
If they manage to get a pick maybe, or win one of those fights, which as you mentioned will be difficult, I feel like that starts to change the game as well though, because you talk about the good setup from Chiefs. Well, that setup goes out the window if they're not in a position to defend a set play.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely. If there's picks that are available for the side of Order, then yeah, that will change the state of the game for
Just
sure.
wonder if they'll be able to do it. That's the question. Chiefs are playing pretty well defensively.
Yeah, when you've got a Zac and a Zoe though, things like that are definitely achievable. It's a place that they can always consider, and you know that was something that we did speak about briefly through the draft phase, is that they're entirely capable of having the Zac as follow-up CC because there's good setup there, even if it's just a slow, you know, maybe it forces a summoner spell after.
Entirely possible. Keeping eyes up in the top side, though, as you mentioned, Swiper still trying to really even back out after the disastrous start to his game. You can see a CS lead building for Tally, and he's just kept that pressure on, but smart playing out of the Urgot player, and now they're actually going to be bringing Spooks up here and Swiffer, so it's a dive being set up for. There's the flip out. No flash. He's going to go Onslaught of Shadows, and they do get the fear out, but juggling some aggro. Tally takes a lot of it, and he's going to pull him back in on the chains for another kill.
Yeah, very good patience there from Tally on the Urgot. Saves the ultimate, waits for Onslaught of Shadows to come out from Swiper in response, and then it's a free aim. So they get that one, they get the kill. Top lane's going to take a lot of damage here, and you know, this is a big byproduct of what happens at level 1 for Swiper. The trades, the level 1 Tri-Bush attack that was put on there by Tally. Of course, the Chiefs, they are trading. They're very quick to return the favor, but Order still with the first punch and 1,000 gold lead.
They do start to build that one up, so while Order go for the plays to take the kills, start leveling up Tally a little bit more. Chiefs do manage to grab a dragon on the opposite side. Next one to spawn will, of course, be that Ocean. And Only's going to look to double dip here, starting off on the red buff. He knows that Spooks won't be around yet. Swiper looking to go in on Spooks actually himself. Two-level advantage.
He did get that. Spooks had no flash. Sorry, no smite.
Yeah, so nice job by Swiper to pick up some vision. Scuttle Crab control.
It does hurt a little bit. He's also got full ward coverage now set up for himself as well. One regular ward, one control ward placed in the river.
Another dive won't be quite so easy.
Where the control ward is placed right now, though, is very hard to defend. If Spooks walks up there, he should just be able to clear it, but that's a lot of time where he can walk away. What matters the most is actually the regular ward that he placed near the Gromp and the blue buff, because you want to be able to see him coming to back away, as Zac can gank from long ranges.
So throughout the Chiefs, or rather the Order Gauntlet series so far, that we've seen them play a lot of pressure on the bottom side, really trying to snowball things out. But this game has been different. I think it's because of, A, the level 1 shenanigans, but also just because Raze and Ayla, I feel, are on a different level than some of the other bot lanes that Dream and Jake have faced so far.
Yeah, I will say that, you know, as far as Game 1 draft is concerned, I don't think Chiefs have shown anything. I actually think that they are just picking a comfy draft. They're just starting in a regular game of League. Order, very similar vein, but that's the way they've been the whole Gauntlet. But the thing with the Chiefs is, like, they can very easily switch up bot lane and have, like, a Tahm Kench Kog'Maw if they wanted. You know, you put Raze on a team fighting AD carry, you support him to win the game, and suddenly the whole landscape of League of Legends looks different for the Chiefs.
That's true. We've seen that, especially when he takes something like the likes of a Yasuo. All of a sudden, Chiefs' game plan starts to vary quite a lot, and it works out scarily well. Whereas Order, you know, they just have the one mode, but it is really working in the best of 5 scenario.
Yeah, it certainly is.
I mean, it's just incredible to see how far they've come so far, even if this does end up being the end of the line for them. Obviously, we've got a lot more League to play before we could say that with any sort of definitivity, but to 3-0 yesterday and to 3-1 today, or the day before, like, Order, a team that just barely made it into the Gauntlet. They actually needed some help from Chiefs in order to make that happen.
Yes, great
they
game.
leveled up so much towards the end.
And how the revenge story starts to peak as well, Pyro, as the Chiefs are the team that, of course, got them into the Gauntlet with their win over Gravitas. Spook's now going to try and play defense, but there's no real chance of defending it.
Now only picking up that Rift Herald, and now Swiper coming in looking for the play onto Tally. Speaking of a little bit of revenge, instead they turn over to Swiffer, and he's caught out without a whole lot of allies. Claire finishes him off with a rocket.
The difference maker there being Ayla, of course, first the move towards the middle lane, has got his Boots of Lucidity already as well, so starting to tear through Summoner's Rift as he walks around. Swiffer finds himself dead. Both Summoners, real Summoners, used at that.
Yeah, great roam out of the Chiefs' support. Now it's going to be Spooks trying to go back in, and he sticks the goo on top of Claire, but he's already valked away, and now they're going to bounce him back, and Ayla trying to shift targets here. This Lamb's Respite comes down for only just to save the life of both of his teammates, and it's actually going to be nobody dying.
There was also the Herald was available there for only if you wanted to be super aggressive afterwards. Swiper, of course, nearby as Urgot's pushing topside, but they choose to be cautious. They don't want to take any needless risks, and rightly so, of course, with Swiffer coming back alive and running it back down the middle lane towards his lane. So they disengage, and it's good item spike timings as well, actually, for the side of the Chiefs, and you can see they start to turn it on at the appropriate moment.
Yeah, hit the go button. Only 12.5 minutes passed on the clock, but those item spikes starting to come in pretty handy here. Trinity Force picked up for the Corki, of course. You know, that's kind of always a famous pairing. You know, name a more iconic duo, if you will.
Do you want me to?
I mean, sure, if you got one.
Trinity Force and Freak?
Well, yeah. Tons of damage in Freak, but I see where you're going with it.
Yeah, well, that's... Maybe people don't even realize that's what he was... Ah, well.
Yeah. I think they had plenty of chances to know.
Probably too OG at this point, a reference, actually.
It is, yeah. I don't... Yeah, we have to dip back in the memory banks for that one. Now, looks like Rift Herald's going to get popped onto the top side, so this is going to be Chiefs trying to make a play up there. While the turret plates are still standing for another 30 seconds, they can get as much as they can in terms of gold and should start to take a lead in this game. In fact, they do. 500 now ahead.
Yeah, very well equalized is the top side of the map. Urgot still, you know, there was an opportunity to have kill threat in this top lane, but you have to remember through all of this that it's a Zac they have drafted. So it's there. There's a potential for it, but it's very unlikely that a Zac will come up there, and Only's been putting a lot of focus towards top lane, and that's really started to equalize the entire game state. Mid lane starting to make a bit of a difference here as well, and with these item spike timings, they really are primed to go here, Chiefs. Look for those moments. Package is probably the big turning point if Corki gets that now that he's got the Trinity Force. Sork Shoes and a package play, probably for an objective like the Ocean Dragon, is what I would expect.
Yeah, Chiefs can just continue to try and stack it up like this and build advantages that'll make it a lot harder for Order to really get in on equal footing. You know, Chiefs grabbing the lead back, grabbing the tempo back from the beginning of the game. This is what a team of this caliber can do.
And it looks like we do have the package, so we do have the Ocean Dragon being started as well. I say that because I simply watched Claire sprint down lane, and it's 14 minutes, so he doesn't have home guards.
All right, so Ocean Dragon #1 picked up. There will be a second one. Packages in the mid lane, and, well, he's looking for someone to sign for it. I don't think Swiffer or Spooks are willing to, though.
Spooks is actually playing a bit of defense here with Swiffer. They're looking towards protecting toppers. Where are you going?
Yeah, he's going to have to Valk again. Okay, had that on cooldown. Nice little debate rolling around as he got hit with the Sleepy Trouble bubble.
But Swiffer could hit another bubble here, potentially. That'd be a risk. He'll back away. There's no vision, of course, of where Claire is on that side. But
yeah, that was a bit of a weird...
So the thing that Spooks and Swiffer were doing there was defending top lane. Tally had the push, and he was trying to threaten under the turret and clear vision in the enemy tri-bush. So they posture forwards to prevent Claire from getting any purchase to that side of the map, where Tally would immediately just have to sprint for his life. As the kill threat in a 1v2 would be there.
Yeah. Still very even game all across the board. I think the big difference makers, as you mentioned in the mid lane, starting with Claire there as he takes a chunk damage from Swiffer. Spook sniffing around. It looks like there could be a collapse from both junglers.
Support and AD carry of Order reset, however, so Order will play the safe option here. Just clear those waves out and farm up slowly, whereas the Chiefs are being much more of the aggressor right now.
Yeah, and they found Spooks out right now. Chiefs going for the play onto the jungler of Order, but he goes back in, sticks them together, and goes bouncing, can't bring anybody with them. And it's Swiffer that takes down only already, and Swiper has already teleported back into the play, looking for Jake, looking for a bit of revenge, but he's gonna fall down, and they lose the Braum on the other side, but I think Order will take that trade.
That is a very good trade for Order, considering how it started as well. Spooks with no health to his name. And Jake is the only one that goes down for them. Swiper and Only gone. Only just gets smacked around before he can even press his R button.
Yeah, great job by Order. And, they need those types of fights against the likes of the Chiefs if they want to be able to start moving forward in this mid-game. True Shot Barrage comes out and clips Dream, but doesn't matter too much.
There is still this present concern. It's just in the back of my mind constantly that the more you watch Raze and Dream isolated in this 1v1, which is what it feels like a lot of the time.
Yeah, both supports roaming.
The more you worry that the Chiefs are getting advantages. Raze is just that kind of player. He's patient, is methodical, and he takes everything that he can from you. This bot lane turret now starting to suffer because Jake was one of the people that died. So that will be a lot of good damage for it. Chiefs, most likely, I would say, Raze will have a lot of money in his pocket right now.
Soon enough, a lot of people coming down to bot lane. Looks like there's a party in the works, and Spooks does go bouncing in, but Ayla has already bailed out of there. Now Raze is actually caught out, but it's fine. He has an arcane shift.
Yeah, he wants to reset, actually. I think Spooks was just forcing that one for his own bottom lane.
Oh, Spooks might be caught again. He does get knocked up and canceled there. Looks like they've got the damage on him to pop him into blobs. However, Jake does go for the intercept and Only flashing over the wall to try and take the play. You've got a 2v3 here, basically, as the Featherstorm comes through. And Ayla gets caught sleeping, but they can't get any more damage on him, so nobody dies again.
And good discipline from Only to not use the Kindred ultimate. He flashed forwards very aggressively, I might add, into a Braum shield, so he didn't hit the damage that he wanted to. However,
to the door.
Yeah. However, he saved his ultimate when there was a risk of it being used. There's a lot of aggression here, actually.
Swiffer's still in lane.
And Jake.
Losing a little bit of time at home, though. You can see that his tower is going to be under siege by Claire.
Yeah,
Spooks
will be
is
now.
coming in.
Spooks will hover it, and so is Dream, who's walking towards this. So what Order just tried to do on this bottom side is eventually they'll clear that ward. We're going to watch top first.
Yeah.
Swiper was looking to teleport, I think. No,
And,
he wasn't. He wasn't even.
Oh, dear.
He was just watching.
That's not what you want to see.
Oh, no. Swiper definitely just died watching bottom lane.
Oof. He's having a bit of a roughie.
Not ideal.
Doesn't have the Trinity Force completed, but man, that Urgot's going to be pretty terrifying.
50-odd CS right now as well, at 3-0 and kills to
I feel like Tally's going to be really hard to deal with on those side lanes, but that's not what Chiefs are looking at right now. They're looking for the play in the mid, but Dream and Jake already out.
Yeah, so if I'm Swiper at this stage, you probably would do this anyway, but you just rush a Gargoyle Stoneplate. You rush everything that you possibly can to survive.
Become a tank Hecarim.
And you survive at all costs, because your team has so many carries, and the most important thing right now for the Chiefs is that they get the damage down without dying. One of the best ways to enable that if you're Swiper is just to be a tanky boy, whereas Ayla is about engaging.
On the Order side, they're bringing everybody into the mid lane here. Tally's got a Death Dance completed. He is terrifying.
Yep.
You'd think they'd probably want to keep him on the side lane.
Yep.
But they're deciding to go for the Death Ball, which has been kind of a Order modus operandi.
Well, you don't want to keep Tally on the side lane if you're Order. You want to bring him to the fight. He's so strong. He will be able to 1v5 the entire enemy team if he gets his opportunity to. Chiefs want to keep him on the side lane right now, because there is no value in bringing a 3-0 Urgot with a 40 CS lead to the fight. Separate him, keep Hecarim up there with him if you possibly can, and then try and 4v4. The risk there is look at the 4v4 composition that the Chiefs have got. It's not exactly your stock standard team fighting, and the opposing team size is Zac and a Braum to front to back pretty well that are very good into one type of damage.
So Order definitely with the momentum right now. 1,000 gold in the lead as we tick over into the 20-minute mark. Baron Nashor will spawn on the Rift, and that means the ward game will probably start shifting in that direction. And one thing Chiefs do have going for them is the fact that, as you mentioned earlier in the game, they are one of the best teams, if not the best in the OPL, at setting up for objective plays.
We get to really explore how well they can do this from behind in terms of momentum, however. because a lot of the goal difference does belong to top laners. So setting up for the Baron side of the map is going to be a little bit easier for them to do if Tally is up there. But at the moment, they're able to sneak away the Dragon. No contest available for Chiefs, though Chiefs knew, of course, that it was being done.
So match now on the Ocean Dragons, the biggest difference being the Mountain in favor of Chiefs, but they've had a hard time knocking down towers. In fact, neither team has really gone for a lot of neutral objectives, so we get 20 minutes into this game with only one being knocked down, and that means the map is not nearly as open as it would be.
Not by any means, actually. We are well and truly still into the early stages of this game. Item completions are coming about, however, through that. One of those being the Hex Drinker for Claire. Something that we mentioned does make him quite good into the Zoe. The risk there is, normally you would look at a Hex Drinker and say, why would you do that? You need a QSS, but he has Cleanse.
He's fine.
However, the counterpoint to that is QSS gets you out of Urgot Ultimate.
I think you can go in circles with this for a little while if you want. He might get both by the end of the game.
He may, absolutely.
Oh, big package
You
valve.
still want to get crit first if you can help it as Corki.
I feel like special delivery is oftentimes just getting the heck out of there.
Special evacuation.
Yeah. It's when you can't find anyone to sign for it, and you're just like, all right, I'm out. Leave it at the door.
Well, that's the problem with Corki's passive, is that it is on a timer as well. It's got
You can't expect him to be on the job all day. He's got kills and assists to pick up, man.
Not when he's running away with it.
No, definitely not. It's unfortunate. My point is, he's not a good delivery man.
Okay. I do not actually know a good delivery man. Full stop.
Ah, okay. Guess I don't either now that I think about it. Chiefs, though, trying to clear out some wards, much as they can. Down on the bottom side is a 1v1 situation. Swiper taking a little bit of damage as Tally steps up to try and fire down this turret.
It's not a winning 1v1. It's never a winning 1v1.
Oh, that's a little unfortunate. Spooks tried to get somebody. He does stick the goo onto only, but he's not able to connect on anyone else, so that ultimate's down.
That's not too high of a cost, however, for the Zac, and I think right now the build going towards something like the Warmogs will mean that that's basically his primary function in this game, is try and try again.
Ooh, Swiffer forced to actually burn his Summoner Flash just to get out of there. Only stepping forward, Jake throwing up the wall. Chiefs going very aggressive with this 4-man.
But this is where Chiefs wanted to be.
Hold up a second.
Except for that.
He tanks out the tower, and he still gets the kill onto Swiper.
The scary thing here for the Chiefs is exactly this. Tally is the win condition right now, and Swiper's just got to hold on for his life. But what you just saw from the Chiefs was a glimpse into what they are very capable of doing in this game. You put an Ezreal, you put a Corki in the mid lane together, and they will just barrage you with spells. They will just have an unstoppable just onslaught. And eventually you will die. But if that's happening, meanwhile on the side lane right now, Urgot is winning the game.
Yeah, 4-0. Tally's having a ball right now. It's on a 2-item. Urgot really walking all over Swiper as it just seems to have gotten so out of control from the start of the game when he finds him in the tri-brush low on health.
The goal differences as well. Pretty much nothing between most of the roles, a slight advantage.
But the top lane is the gold lead.
Yeah, but the top lane is everything right now.
Careful there. Ayla does sidestep
Nice
a lot of
dodge.
CC. Nicely done on that recon.
Fancy footwork. Ayla, you know, one of the people that you would have to look at coming into a Gauntlet best of 5 is Ayla in his first split, but so far he's looked like a very capable player.
He certainly has, and whoa, hold on a second. Spook's going to get bounced up under tower range. I think it's been a good Gauntlet to see some of the new talent of the OPL. Another one on the other side of the map is Dream as he finds some damage onto Raze there. Looking for that Braum ultimate, goes in the other direction. Not quite splitting the uprights as they wanted it. Dream and the rest of Order still sitting around this mid lane.
Just so much damage coming across from both sides. Tally does cut.
Oh, Swiffer! He blows up Ayla. Caught him snoozing.
Zoe just bites back. So Order, now they'll push forwards. They're going to look towards this mid lane outer turret. Very aggressive posturing, but there is still wave clear as Swiper's going to run, and there goes Zoe again.
There's also health bar clear, as it turns out. Ray's on way too low a health and flashing on the Spell Thieves. Paddlestar just hunting for those kills. They don't take the tower, but they get darn close to it.
Swiper actually does get a rotation off. He will be spotted by all of the control wards that Order have placed on the bottom side if he was to look at all. So Order still feeling very confident about their positioning on the map. Good wards, good setup.
They're looking for the dive, forcing the Valk away from Claire. And just the threat is all they needed. Tower's going to fall, only comes in just in time to watch it be demolished, and Order have knocked down the outer ring.
Claire even cleansed the bubble there when they weren't really intending to dive him, and the goal was the turret. So another summoner spell burned as well as the structure falling. Chiefs really starting to fall behind in this game, and one of the first moments where Tally's freedom to move around the rift heavily affects them. But it's also unleashing Swiffer, because that's the thing, you know, like, Swiffer is the one getting the damage and getting the kills. They're getting all the vision because Tally's constantly grouping, and he's been doing this all Gauntlet. They should know full well, of course, that he will start to group. But like, what could you possibly do to counter that fact when he's 4-0 with 3 items?
Yeah, and one of those items is a Guardian Angel, so even if he goes down here, he'll have a second chance at it with Claire and Swiper both trying to get on top of him and don't find nearly enough damage. And this is Order well and truly warmed up. 7 games already in the Gauntlet, and they are just in rare form. Chiefs do sneak away with another Ocean Dragon. You have to think they'd be wanting something more like an Infernal or a second Mountain, but they don't get it.
You just have to be constantly vigilant of item breakpoints in a game like this, especially when the Chiefs have all of these carries on their teams. So for the side of Order, you would say in an even game state with even items at a 2-item point, they are very strong. As it hits 3, it does get a little bit harder if they don't get the execute off. And actually, it's a level breakpoint thing for me. You know, for Corki hitting level 16, his rockets actually do 1-to-1 ratio damage. And at 3 items, that's a whole lot of damage, full stop, right? Ezreal, the same thing applies. So at that point, the Chiefs can set up their sieges and try and pick for objectives. But until that point, Order, as long as they retain vision control around mid lane, that's just an oasis for Zoe to sit there and throw bubbles.
And Order could just keep this pressure on in multiple lanes. You can see Tally doing the same thing again down on the bot. Gets another side wave pushed in, and Swiper really can't do much about it. And Order just been so great throughout the Gauntlet at just keeping pressure on when they have a lead. Rolling forward, they may very well be on their way to another win here. Game number 1. Lamb's Bite thrown down preemptively by Only because he was afraid of the dive. After the Sleepy Trouble bubble hit, that's another tower going down. Order stacking them up.
And he should be afraid of the dive because they 100% would have. Ayla not nearby as hang on.
It's Ayla trying to make the play. However, there's Redemption coming down, and they have already taken Claire out of this picture. Swiper comes on the flank, but they make him go to sleep. He does get one. He gets himself nearly a second, but Chiefs have already lost 3 members. Order, it's a 3v2 right now as Raze is caught on the wrong side of this map. He's already shifted away, and the QSS has been popped. Do Order have enough to take him down?
Oh, Raze is just too good right now. They're not going to be able to catch him, but Order, with 3 kills, they are still in control of the map. They get the mid turrets. They are well and truly able to reset here and feel very good with the state of the game at this current state. You saw how much damage Swiper is capable of putting out. That much is true, and it'll stay the same. But this Gold League can start to really balloon out of proportions and really mean too much, especially now that Baron is available as a real possibility.
Yeah, it's 4,000 and a little bit extra in favor of Order. Here's that fight again with Swiper on the flank play.
Swiper comes in and does a whole host of damage. It was a flash as well, I think, from... No, it was just an ult from Raze, goes forwards and finds the target. And as a result of that, like, Swiper, yeah, he gets the damage down, was always going to die, but he knows that, you know, and his goal is to try and do as much as he can before it, as Raze was able to survive on the backside and did a whole lot of work in that fight.
You could see that Order were really focused on prioritizing Claire as a target. It was a lot of engages on both sides, which means kind of both of them missed in a few ways until Swiper came in, but Order just far ahead, good execution, they get the edge on the fight. Man, there are some scary carries on the side of Order. One of them is Tally, but Swiffer has just been ever so slightly, ever so slowly, snacking it up. 2.5 items right now. Working his way towards probably a death cap.
Every control ward you have to clear in this jungle is a control ward that a Zoe could be hovering around trying to throw a bubble at you. It's a control ward that a Zac could be setting up as well, and this is just so dangerous. Tally, he is starting off the Baron by himself. No one would suspect him to be doing that, but the rest of Order now missing. 1 in each bush. They will see Chiefs if they come towards them.
Yep, Spooks is found out. Baron's already down to half health, though. Order should be able to secure this.
And Spooks showing means that they would not suspect it's being done, but the blue trinket goes on, so Spooks comes over the wall.
Let's see if Chiefs can stop it. They're trying to make it happen here. Tower is going to fall in the mid lane, and they're just going to have to give this one up. It gets smited down. Excuse me, Tower's still going in that mid lane right now. Jake might be caught out. However, it's Swiffer who goes golden as Swiper tries to take him down on the opposite side. Dream and Tally coming to the rescue. That's a big shutdown for Big Swips, but he is going to pay for it with his life. One Baron buff already taken off, but I think that Order are going to keep the rest of theirs as they bring Tally and Spooks to the front line, taking down Claire. That is not going to be enough. No cleanse can save you from that one, and the fight just keeps on going. Raze is trying to make something out of this, and he does manage to get a few kills on the opposite side. It's Tally and Spooks still up in this fight, and Tally on the front line is making Ayla pay for it, but it ends up being a 3-for-3.
And miraculously, the Chiefs, that just doesn't feel like they should be able to come out with an even fight, but the Baron still belongs to Order, still in the driver's seat in this game. Raze is putting his absolute heart and soul into this one to try and carry through. Claire, knowing he was dead, just put down as much damage as he could as well. But what an insane fight from both of these teams. Swiffer lives for such a long time that Swiper does trade his health bar back, thanks to Dream, of course, being there. Baron was taken. Spooks, look at the flank from him as well. Well and truly into the back line. And this is the moment. Raze resetting, teleporting with his item spikes. Claire just dies. They buy so much time, Chiefs, even though their comp has no carries, no tanks rather. And Raze just alphas. He just goes straight in and says he has to do this or the game is over. Don't give them all of the Barons available, and he does. He makes it work with Ayla.
20k with the hero play for sure, and now, despite the fact that Order's still up, the gold lead actually cuts itself down a little bit, and there's only 2 Baron buffs to work with on the Order side. Chiefs doing a great job of minimizing the damage, but will it be enough just to stop that bleeding?
Yeah, for what it's worth, the Baron's still belonging to the side laner and the jungler, which just means that Spooks will have to group with his team more in the lane itself, so less flanks perhaps from the Zac. As long as waves are crashing and he is there, it doesn't matter too much in the end. And Tally's able to secure those anyway, sitting on the side lane, so they're actually in a very comfy position, considering that there's only 2 Barons.
That's true. Order can see what they can get done here. 5 towers to 4. Chiefs have been able to knock down a couple. Already started just before that fight actually happened. They were able to knock down one. I believe it was in the bottom side of the map.
Really needing that extra crit item is Claire on this Corki if he wants to be truly online. That static Shiv or rapid fire cannon has to come out ASAP.
Speaking of items, Swiper's managed to build himself up into quite a tanky boy. It's a Randuin's Omen. Not something you see every day these days.
Yeah, lots of armor. Not a lot of magic resistance.
So in the team fights against Swiffer, he's going to have a bit of a roughie.
If Swiffer ever looks at him, he is most likely going to pop.
That's probably why he was hunting him in that last fight.
Yeah.
Take him out of the picture first.
Well, that's the thing. If you build armor and you take down the magic damage, you're good. It doesn't matter if you're an item behind your opponent because they all have one type resistance and suddenly you're efficient. Siege now in the bot lane. Level breakpoints on as well here, Pyro. Level 16 for Corki and for Raze.
Yeah, this is where it starts to get good for Chiefs. Question is, will they be able to take the fight? That's going to be the cannon creep taken down. Dream does get chunked out. True Shot Barrage intercepted by Jake. Great use of the Unstoppable.
That could have potentially stopped the push completely.
Swiper.
They see Tally mid, so the opportunity for a quick flank is always available. As if that bubble was on, you know Spooks was going.
Yeah, he's sitting on a ward though, so this is in full vision of what Chiefs can do. Trying to hold the line, hold their base. So far, Order have yet to be able to break in on this Baron buff. 33 minutes in the game.
The Baron buff is gone.
That's it. Definitely be going to multiple Barons this game.
God, this game is close. Closer than you would like if you're Order.
It is so close. And they had so many good fights, so many good swings. But Chiefs, I mean, there have been some miraculous saves. Raze has been an absolute hero in that last fight. But, you know, really, credit to the Chiefs as a unit.
I mean, to put it simply, this is still Order's game to lose. They are in the driver's seat. They are still pushing forwards for the objectives. Chiefs on the defensive 100%. But it doesn't feel like they're out of this game by any means.
No, it just doesn't feel like a snowball. I think that's really the key here. Whereas a lot of the other Gauntlet games, it did seem like Order's momentum just got a little bit too strong. But right now, Chiefs are trying to hold on. However, the death ball is here.
The teleport's coming in.
There's the teleport flank. Ayla also coming around the side. Order knows something's up, and they're needing to get the heck out of dodge right now. Here's Ayla going in. Featherstorm flying. There's a couple of charms. And in comes Swiper onto the back line with the unstoppable onslaught. However, he's going to get taken out of this one, and the Zac goes bouncing like a kangaroo. They're going to chew up another one. It looks like it's going to be only taken out of there pretty quickly. Raze and Swiper already down. The Lambster's bite is going to be just that for a few seconds, and Order decisively win the fight. Swiffer chasing out Raze, Claire jumping forward, but it's tag team League of Legends and Order clean house.
And they have done it, Order, in this first game against the Chiefs in the best of 5. They've taken them down. They've toppled the Titans. We've got a series.
We absolutely do. In game number 1, Order all warmed up, standing tall. And Chiefs will fall here as the Nexus goes down. Order 1-0 up in the Gauntlet.
And it really just came about in one moment. in this game. It started to feel like, Raze, could Quinny KB stopped on that Ezreal? Perhaps not. But Order, they set up in a side lane, and they are gifted the turret. Chiefs, they choose to sacrifice standing in front of that objective to teleport and to get the flanks off. But they were actually flanking through vision that Order had placed. So they knew it was coming, they back away, and they just make the appropriate counterplay, and suddenly we find ourselves in a very comfortable position, if you're Order, to win the team fight, and as such, the game.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Chiefs knew that they were going to slowly keep losing ground, and eventually, well, when it's inside your base, the next thing to go is the Nexus. So they had to make a play, but Order, not only were they far ahead enough, they played that fight so well, splitting the engage, minimizing what Ayla could get done on his quickness, minimizing what Swiper could get done on his onslaught. I mean, they just picked it apart.
And one thing that we have highlighted, and we will continue to highlight for the rest of this, but is the setup. It's the vision. It's the control of the map before you make the plays. And through the wards that Order had, it's very easy to counter a Rakan engage, even though Flash engage has no counter. But you see him coming, someone like Azaya can press the ultimate, preemptively assuming that they're going to make the moment. And things like that change the state of the fight so much.
Oh, yeah. Really, really big stuff. I mean, it's so impressive to see Order execute, like, they keep saying standard League of Legends, but they just do it so darn well. And it's just a huge level up from their regular split performance.
Absolutely. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel right now, Order. They're just using the best one that they can possibly get.
Yep. Order are 1-0 up here in the Gauntlet. We'll see if they can keep it going. We're going to take a Mick ad break before we send back to the couch.
We don't believe in labels at Macca's, like dinner or breakfast, so we're getting rid of them. Now you can enjoy dinner or breakfast whenever you want it. McDonald's all-day menu, available 24/7.
Oh, Order making a statement game number 1. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, okay.
I want to start though. Order seem to have been slowing down their game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this could be the key to their success.
I feel like, absolutely, like coming into the Gauntlet, right? Like you look at the first day versus Mammoth, both of those teams came in and they slowed down their game, but like Order have really just done it very successfully. You saw day 2 of the Gauntlet, playing a little bit faster versus a team like AV. They want to get down and dirty. They want to get scrappy. Aladorix, like flash polving, level 3, forcing fights. And those early games really weren't going their way. But if Order get to play these sites of comps, they're just picking like stuff for Tally where maybe he can get an advantage, but then he comes into the group. Spooks is just playing Urgot. I've talked to him behind the scenes. He's like, yeah, I'm just playing Urgot. I'm just chugga clearing some wards, gets to play the Zac and do his thing. They're just getting to teamfight phase. They're getting away with it. They get to teamfights, and then they look good.
Do you think it's because of Gauntlet? Because of the pressure that Gauntlet brings, that you got one shot at this, and so let's pull it back? Or do you think that there's been a fundamental change in the way that the team approaches
Actually,
the game?
no. I feel like Gauntlet does add a little bit of that pressure, but this is such a big swing. I feel like it was a very intentional choice. You saw the way, like, just the difference that you've seen in Order from like week 10 coming into the Gauntlet. I feel like their preparation has been very on point. It won them the series versus Mammoth, right? Like, I feel like they played well, but their prep really did do them a great service there. And they've actively come into this like, yes, let's slow down the game. And also, they've done it in the past.
Yeah.
They've got to like playoffs and been like, yeah, let's play Anivia comps.
Yeah.
Let's sit back and do nothing for 30 minutes. And I really feel like it is an active choice, and it's still working out against a top team like Chiefs.
So we said that, Chiefs going into this, they've got 2 extra days of film on hand. They've seen how Order's been playing. The draft, Order get a slow draft on the board. Chiefs don't capitalize on that in the early game.
Yeah, I really think it does come down to a lot of this Kindred pick, right? Like, this was a last pick. You see the Zac, and then what you see happening level 1, Swiper face checks, he loses a bunch of his HP, and as does Swiffer. This is Claire on the Corki, who uses that priority on a 1 HP Zoe, like, that is just sitting back in lane, like chugging corrupting pots, and all it is like a leash for the crab, so only gets to pick that one up. And Rusty mentioned it, he went topside, hit the Scry's plan or whatever, but it really was them using their advantages to just secure the neutral stuff for the Kindred. It never was the Kindred invading with priority and looking to force out spooks. Like, these are just blind pick weak matchups like the Zac, and they really didn't leverage any of the advantage that they did have to progress that game forwards. And I feel like you got to like 15 to 20 minutes and the game was even enough that like a team fight comp was always going to be there from Order. And I feel like it's also not to say that Chiefs didn't scale well. They have triple AD carry. They have Corki, who's mixed damage, still an AD carry, but you have that late game of the Ezreal, of the Corki to be there. But I feel like a window certainly was missed early, and they just didn't take advantage of it enough.
And even if they did miss that window and they were going, okay, we're going to pull it back as well, we're going to play slow, Tally against Swiper at top was not helping the situation, and that they could have potentially made it through if it wasn't for the 5 kills there and whatever amount.
Like you look at competitive League of Legends, and for someone to get solo killed, you're like, man, that's a big mistake.
Yeah.
Swiper got solo killed 3-4 times in the side. Like he was just dying off cooldown to Tally, and like. This is a guy who has just had a monster Gauntlet run so far. This is, like, he's played a bunch of the Scion. This wasn't something extravagant. He gives them the Hecarim, and he just takes the Urgot, and he's like, yeah, man, that's fine. Sure, he kills him at level 1. Swiper should see that play coming any day of the week.
Like you said, that is what every Urgot does.
Yeah, level 1.
Level 1, you're just sitting there in that bush waiting for that play.
Yes, level 1, you have an Urgot. He staunches the wards because he just toggles the machine gun, and he just clears them out. And then he goes in Tribush, and he looks for a little bit of a chunk. Swiper is flashless on the Hecarim, right? It's Ignite TP, and he knows he got hella chunked in that like early skirmish. And then he just walks into the Tribush, and you see his player cam afterwards. He's just like, oh man, like, what did I just do? And yes, that makes the matchup very difficult. Tally did so much work to keep that ball rolling and snowball it, but like that isn't how the matchup should be playing out. That was just a complete outclassing on the top side of the map.
And Tally's been playing amazingly well this Gauntlet, full stop. But like watching Doss's camera, he looks shaken. He actually looks like this shouldn't be happening, and then potentially like he gets in his own head a bit.
Yeah, maybe. Like we don't know his mindset coming into the day. This is a known quantity of order. You saw Volt in the interview. He was saying things like, "Yeah, like we're probably over prepared for this matchup, right? Like we know exactly what they're doing. They're not playing crazy things. It's just standard stuff." And they came in, and that game does shake a person. I feel like Doss, Swiper, out of all the players in the OPL. He's called the Rock in the top for a reason, so I'm not expecting him to just int the rest of the series, right? He had a very rough game.
Yeah.
He is a guy that will be able to bounce back. He is a pillar for this team, among other players, but like that is not the start you want coming into the Gauntlet for Chiefs in their position.
And so he's the Rock in the top. He's generally one of the most consistent players there. Raze was the one, though, that really kept Chiefs in the game.
He was one-man armying so many team fights. Like,
that fight in mid, towards the end of the game.
Because like there was multiple times he got like caught out, he TPs back to a fight, and then he's just melee range Ezreal somehow, just like, what's that movie where like they're curving bullets around people, like Angelina Jolie. He's melee range Ezreal in between like creeps, champions, and Urgot, and he's just like shooting things everywhere, somehow landing every ability, and like that was a top tier AD carry performance. I will say, with how like the early game panned out and what was happening, like I was saying upstairs, Order's bottom lane literally killed Chiefs' bottom lane in lane.
Yep.
Right? And then like Raze holds onto the TP, and it did look like in one of those situations where the bottom lane of Order, where they played well, they got that kill, but they were struggling to maintain that advantage. If you 2v2 kill someone, I expect that snowball to keep on rolling and to keep progressing that lane, especially when you have like more of that early threat. Ezreal wants to build a tier, just kind of farm it up, whatever. But Raze was able to find his way and like keep up in CS, and he actually had that lead. So despite the fact that he didn't have a flashy early game, I feel like he actually laned like reasonably well and kept himself in that game. And then in late game team fights, he was with Claire, arguably the two people that were actually keeping them in that game. He was dishing out so much damage, but in the end, it's not enough. Like when Tally is just 6-0 and 7, 3 levels up above his lane opponent, walking into the back of a team fight, he's just killing everyone.
I was scared of Tally. We were just sitting in a room watching him. Game 1 in a series like this is like a tone setter. So we've spoken about the fact that Chiefs, watching Order for the last couple of days, Order have this momentum coming in. For that first game, for Order to take that out, that is a big statement to Chiefs, and something that Chiefs were looking to block to really, I guess, like take priority.
Yeah, because you need to look at the Gauntlet and how the end of the season shaped up holistically. It's like the people in the Gauntlet, like there's this middle of the pack, 4 teams, Gravitas, then you have Order, then you have Mammoth, then you have AV. And Chiefs could be sitting back, like watching the Gauntlet, like, let them all fight amongst each other. Like us and Bombers, we're sitting at the top. There's a gap there. And then you come into today, and let's like paint 2 different pictures. Chiefs win game number 1. Order's momentum is just irrelevant. It's gone. Like Chiefs are like, we are the big dogs. Like you can't beat us. Like you can beat everyone else, but we're sitting at the top of the ladder for a reason. But that's not the case. Now Chiefs are sitting there like shitting their pants like, wow, okay, Order are playing really well. They have progressed. This is a team that is scary. We just lost first game in a best of 5 that they came in, well, I think before the Gauntlet, heavy favorites. After we've seen the Gauntlet, a lot of people are jumping on the Order bandwagon. They are playing very well right now, but I still think coming into the day, Chiefs probably do deserve to be like given that mark, given the favoritism going into the game, but this is not where you wanted to start this series as the Chiefs. This is a very rough time.
So we've got confirmation that Order are on blue side for game number 2.
Okay,
so
they chose.
Chiefs, I mean, they are fantastic. They are at the top of their game. They also have some players with a lot of experience on there, so they're not going to let this knock them around as much as it could another team.
Yeah, no
what
way.
do they do for game number 2 to get back into the game?
I think it doesn't, not a whole lot has to happen in draft in terms of, I feel like what they got themselves was okay. There wasn't a glaring weakness or a problem like that where you look at some other series and you can point that out. I just think they just need to play more aggressive. If Order are going to come into this and keep playing this sort of style, keep wanting to slow down the game, you saw AV speed up the game and look fairly decent against Order yesterday.
Yeah.
You've seen the blueprints of that happening, and Chiefs are a team that I think can do that. Only is a sort of kindred player, old school Nidalee guy. He likes to get in and play not the lane matchups, but play the 1v1 in the jungle. Get in Spooks' head and start bullying him around.
Which he wasn't doing this last game.
Yeah.
He was playing way more passively.
Yeah. You have players that like Claire who can pop off, the bottom lane of Chiefs. We've seen them have play those negative matchups. Yeah, they can play the Ezreal Rakan and look okay. They can also play the more aggressive stuff. They have wide champion pools, and I feel like just getting some more activity, getting things rolling, playing more aggressive, just getting in Order's face, I think we have already seen can be very successful, and I just like to see them take that route.
All right, well, we expect a lot from the Chiefs, and we expect nothing but the best. So we will see how they head into game number 2. We'll be heading into the McDonald's Champ Select in a second. And to celebrate, let's throw it over to the desk with Pyra and Rusty.
We're always celebrating. It definitely is.
McDonald's Champ Select.
Hey, it's a long one. It's a good one. It's very tasty, in fact.
No, it was a great name. It was just funny trying to get Nick to say them coherently
that's true.
sometimes.
Yeah,
that's
that's
all.
true.
It's not
That's a bit of
about
a
the
roughie.
words themselves, Byron. Their words are fine.
It's just about the delivery.
Yeah.
It's all good. Well, I think game number 2 is going to have a lot on the plate here for Chiefs as well. I think you were mentioning that there were some things you did want to see different about the draft from the Chiefs.
I mean, in general, the draft from the Chiefs felt like it was a little bit too much in one direction without any counters to their opponents. So actually, one thing that you can reference is the Direwolves coach said this on social media is, the Kindred actually does get soft counter by Urgot and Waze, and that is definitely true. You can pull them out of the Lamb's Respite, but in the same way that Kindred can Lamb's Respite someone if they're in melee range fighting.
Yeah, it can kind of work a little bit.
But the reason that that's important is that their comp would never be in melee range fighting, because they had an Ezreal Corki composition. They weren't designed to do that, right? So that's where it feels a little bit different. Is we've got another.
There's something that doesn't feel different.
No, it does.
Swiper's
you know
having
what?
a good
Have you
time.
guys? If you're familiar with Swiffer's personality, he never does that. He's a very if he's the father figure. He's the patient. He's the calm man. He's the guy that reads books while the rest of the team are bouncing
He's having
around.
a dance off today, man. He's feeling good.
Dancing.
He's feeling good right now.
It's over. If he is dancing.
This is Order feeling super confident. Smiles on the face, a little high five action right now. So, we are into the McDonald's champion selection, and Order have elected blue side for game number 2, so we will not see the side selection change. And so far, we will not see the bans change. Lucian, Silas, no surprises.
Yeah, nothing crazy should happen here. Lucian Thresh, third ban is the only thing that tends to change for the side of Order. It was Rise last time around, and you can go for that once again.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing how the Chiefs adapt. However, I think that the Rakan takeaway from Order was good when they went for the first pick of the Zaya.
It was.
It's
Ayla
the
had a pretty decent
Ezreal
game.
that could definitely be something different, and that's the thing. And we mentioned this during the game. You can just play for Raze. You can play fast-paced League of Legends around your AD carry. He will provide that.
That's very true. All right, so same bans for the Order side, including the Rise. Morgana once again. So we should be not surprised to see a Zaya lock in here for Order. Chiefs might answer once more with the Rakan, and the Lovers will be split. If they don't, that should be an easy lock-in for Jake. In fact, they don't. They go for Kai'Sa and Galio on the Chiefs side, so clearly different game plan this time.
And if you asked me, I would say that Zaya Rakan is one of the good champions, good matchups into the Galio. He's actually very capable at taking that matchup down. I think that as far as Kai'Sa Galio is concerned, it is an incredibly powerful combo. But to me, these first 2 picks from the Chiefs signal a bit more aggression over the entire map. This isn't just a case of picking Kai'Sa Galio. This is a case of we are going hard to the paint right now. That Galio, yes, it's a flex. Claire could be playing at mid. That's absolutely possible. You might see a Jarvan from them this time around. The Chiefs have said, let's just go. Let's bring the fire in game 2.
And Order decide to put up a little bit more of a wall to try and stop it. Instead of grabbing the Rakan for themselves, Jake will be taking the Braum once more. Swiffer back on the Zoe. So Order stick to what works for them, what makes them strong. We'll see what Chiefs do to add in to this composition. All power all the time. A lot of hovers on some Assassin picks for Claire, having a little bit of fun here. And we will get a lock-in of the Yasuo, and now I would say that's flexible, but with the Kai'Sa already locked in, that should be a Claire champ.
Yeah, with Kai'Sa locked in, and with the knowledge that Swiper does not delve into this champion at all, you would say that it is Claire's champion for sure, and Zoe is one of the matchups that Yasuo absolutely adores. It is just so simple to play the lane out. You don't need to go for cleanse usually. You can just wind wall reflexively. She has animations that are obvious. And if you ever see a portal show up before a Q comes through, you know there's a paddle star on the way. Wind wall is a very valuable tool here, and she's predictably pathing and moving with her ultimate, so you can hit tornadoes most of the time.
Also true. This will be Claire's first Yasuo of the split. Of course, it was played by Raze earlier by Chiefs. Now, into ban phase 2 we go, and the Urgot is this time off the table.
And can I just say that this is actually a pretty big surprise that Claire is playing the Yasuo of all champions. As far as I can tell, watching Claire play most of this split, you know, you have to do your research before games and look at the champions that he's played. Not a lot of Yasuo. He's more of the Zed Akali guy.
What, he was hovering just for fun of it right there.
Like, he plays Assassins, he plays Kassadin, he's a Riven player mid as well,
I thought the Kassadin might actually be the one coming through.
Like, with all of those options available, and he has the Yasuo in his back pocket, this is a surprise.
Oh, you can't hide anything anymore, right? You know, you end up losing the series and you don't even get a chance to take into the finals. Chiefs certainly wouldn't be happy with those results, especially not considering the pedigree that the organization and many of these players have. On the Order side, Jarvan banned away. We'll see what they pair it with. In fact, it's going to be a Gragas ban last second. It looks like they almost didn't take a ban.
Yeah, last second decision to ban the Gragas. Good engaged champion as well. And, you know, if this is locked in, maybe there's a world where you
All right, this makes a lot more sense. Give only the Rek'Sai. So we still, we're pretty sure that this is the Galio in the support role.
Yes.
Unless it's a swiper thing for some reason.
And the thing that Order of Band is set up for Yasuo. If you think to the LCK, there's been a lot of games recently. You'll probably remember the one where LS legitimately screams, where there is a Gragas Yasuo combo. Those things are dangerous. But Lee Sin's one of the other ones that could have done it as well. However, they opt away from that Lee Sin. They go towards the Rek'Sai, who has knockups all the time by just being able to unburrow.
All about the consistency and the ability to do it at any given point in time. Will keep Order on their toes for sure. Now we do see the Vladimir lock in for Tally. And Spooks. Let's see what he ends up adding into the composition at the end of it. Be this heavy gank in jungle. A lot of communication between him and Choo-Choo's.
Lots of thinking going on between them as well. You can see the deliberation on his screen for what to play.
Let the Kindred go to the other side this time around. Order will be the ones taking it. That is a lot of damage. A lot of poke on the Order side.
It definitely is. Vladimir pretty much confirmed to go to the top lane as well. You look at the Kled perhaps for Swiper. Depends how much of a confidence pick he wants to go towards. Magic damage is almost needed, however, so maybe the Rumble would be a good option here for him.
Not be the only thing. And yeah, okay, so we get ourselves a Big Swift special with the Rumble locked in, and dare I say it, that is a pretty beastly team fight, Rusty.
Definitely is. There's a lot of, I'm just going to say both teams have beastly team fights. You know, the Kindred pick is going to be pretty valuable here against the entire combo of the Chiefs. If you have a knock-up, you follow it with the Yasuo. You know, there's a couple of setup champions there for that. Rumble lays down the Band-Aid on top. It could be a dangerous Band-Aid, could just be a little Band-Aid that does not a whole lot of work. But Swiper has got a winning matchup. Mid lane, I would say, is a pretty comfortable matchup for Claire as well. Bot lane is fairly even. It's a skill matchup, if you ask me as well, in terms of how that one is going to go. And so the difference maker here in this second game is so much about the jungle role and what they're able to get done. And I do look at the Rek'Sai and say with the unique gank pass, unique mobility around Summoner's Rift with the tunnel system as well, Chiefs are really poised to have a faster and much more successful game too.
Well, let's see if they can level it up for this next game and even out the series at 1-1. If not, the momentum swing is huge for Order on their side, already taken one game, and this team is primed to run the gauntlet all the way. They just need 2 more wins to do it, and it is so impressive to watch Order grow. Joining us once more from the Order side on the desk is, of course, Choo-Choo's. Welcome back.
Hello, I'm back.
You must be feeling pretty good. I saw some smiles on the faces of the team in Chip Select.
Yeah, I don't know, like we're just growing more confident, I suppose. I think I said it yesterday, but we have a very strong understanding of our identity, and I researched very thoroughly Chiefs, as I did Davey and Mammoth, and we have been putting them on things that we think exploit their weakness as a team, and I think we've done that again this game.
So I have a question before we get into this game as well, as it's the third day in a row now that you've been coming into the studio. Pre-game rituals, choose.
Oh, yeah.
Who has the worst pre-game rituals in your team?
The worst?
Like the most extensive, perhaps.
Oh, wow. I think everyone
has their own one.
Everyone has like quite good. Like some like to exercise. Like we all meet up at a cafe and I like give the rundown. Everyone voices their opinion. We come in with the same approach. But yeah, people like go to the gym. They like to do a 30-minute run before they like play, just to get everything off, all the pressure off them. While others just I go on my phone and play Hearthstone because I like Hearthstone. but yeah, everyone really just tries to like listen to music, get into their own state, come into the game with a good leveled head.
Fantastic. And of course, now we can move into the draft. One thing that I will say surprised me, and I want your opinion on it as well, is Claire going for the very early Yasuo. Is this something you expected?
No, not at all. I think it's a comfort pick. It's also quite a good pick into Zoe, although it really, I think like they lack ways to actually kill the Zoe. I think like they're very much relying on, I'm giving away a lot right now, but I think like they really rely on Rek'Sai's Flash and Burrow. So I think if Only does not have a standout performance this game, they'll find it very hard to utilize this Yasuo pick.
Fair enough. Now, to talk a little bit more about just running the Gauntlet overall for the team, already this has been Order as an organization's best run in the playoffs in the OPL.
Yeah, it has.
Overall,
no
for the team,
fair
enough. No legacy to worry about. But yeah, I guess overall, I wonder about like, does playing more games add to the sense of momentum, or does it actually feel a little more fatiguing that you have to come in day after day?
Definitely momentum. I don't think anyone is fatigued. It's actually very strange. Like we've been coming in so many times now that I like upstairs just before, like when I was watching the other game, it actually felt like a scrim. Like I was creating notes, and I'm like, guys, like, you missed this, like X, Y, Z, and it actually feels like we're scrimming, but with like a staged level of intensity.
It looks like we got ourselves a start to this fight already, though, and Spooks is going to get burned down for just a second. There's that start from Only and the rest of Chiefs. But I guess that'll end the interview there. Thank you so much for joining us, Choo-Choo's. Best of luck.
No worries, thank you.
Yeah, that was almost first blood. So close.
Pyra points at me and he's like, you can ask a question if you want. I'm looking at the screen
like, Pyra, go.
You probably want to talk about what's happening.
Oh, boy.
As that was a
surprising.
lot expended, but the cost was for the mark. And let it be known that the mark was secured by the Kindred.
Hashtag worth if you're Spooks.
So if you're Spooks, you'd say worth. Flash Burrow, perhaps not going to be available for Only now, but as long as he has that at 6, that's very important. But that is something that Choo-Choo's highlighted, and I agree with that. You know, when the draft was completed, one of the first things that we said is that they have good lanes, but the biggest difference, will be the jungle. And so that's who we have to continue to look at, as both of them don't have Flash now. It gets much more volatile or passive, and to be determined which.
Yeah, and both of these junglers do have ways to, increase their momentum, increase their movement across the map. Hops for the Kindred when you're talking about attacking. Only can, of course, get those burrows going and have those creative ganking paths even without the Flash. But both teams clearly going for it early on in this game. As you mentioned, Chiefs really looking to change it up and be a much faster-paced team for Game 2. And another mark gets taken by Spooks as he smites it down, but Swiper
that was
flashing forward. And they are bringing Claire and everyone, burning him down, and he just takes so much damage, but the heal up comes through a little bit too little, and it's first blood to Claire.
And that was very forward from the Chiefs. The flash just to hit the harpoon from Swiper. But what were we talking about as well, knowing full well that Spooks didn't have the flash available? They expend everything as Claire...
And Swiffer outplays him.
Claire just dies, and now the red buff belongs to the Zoe.
Transfer complete, so things have just gone all over the place in the last 2 minutes. First blood given to Claire, and Swiffer picks it up on the opposite side, so both mid laners going to get extra gold in their pockets. Wow, let's take a look at that again.
Oh, wow, just hits the bubble and the Ignite on as well. It was a Spell Thief's Ignite that actually makes the difference here. Claire, the last auto attack before the Windwall can come out. He just dies going for the minions. Probably wanted to force the wave into reset, as you do as a mid laner, but Swiffer with the immediate punish.
All right, Spooks, though, is on a mark hunting machine this game. He's already gotten the 2, and looking for the 3rd, it will be the Grumpin. Without Only anywhere in the picture, this should be an easy take for him. Ayla does seem keen to come in and try to disrupt it.
Every single mark has been tracked by the Chiefs. They are putting resources to it, but they haven't stopped him from getting a single one. And at 5 minutes into this game, to get that 3rd mark, very quick timing. One more mark on the board. It could just be a kill. And Spooks is so happy.
Already the pace of this game just feels like so much more accelerated than the last time around. Both teams were feeling each other out in game number 1, but game 2 off to the races already. Claire tries to stop the back of Swiffer, misses the window by just a little bit. It's going to have some free farm for a moment there. Neither mid laner has any summoner spells.
There's just so much volatility on this map right now. Junglers, no summoner spells. Mid laners, no summoner spells. Top laner, no flash for the Chiefs. Bot lane, no heal for Dream as well because of the level 2 skirmish that went down.
And Raze doesn't have a heal, since he's packing the teleport instead.
It makes you feel that anywhere these junglers go, someone's probably going to die. And, you know, the question is it the person being ganked or is it the ganker being countered? That's where you have to once again track these junglers. Rek'Sai now moving into the Grom. Vladimir spots him. Tally can't fight him, but they're aware. And now the opposing side, Spooks walks into the bot side river. The question is, where does his mark go? And is he lucky today?
So far, things have been working out pretty well for him, but we'll definitely need to keep
He
an
is
eye on
lucky
the map.
today.
The mark is up on the Scuttle, number 4 in 6 minutes. I don't think I've seen a Kindred get that many so fast.
Not without a kill, so geez, it wasn't even on the Scuttle. It spawns, the mark comes on afterwards. Spooks in the right place. RNG's is saving.
In the right place. Oh, that's going to be a nice little combo there for the last breath. Claire going in for round number 2. Portal jump in, the Prey Seeker, not enough to finish the job. He actually walks away with his life.
Yeah, it was the Spell Thief's Exhaust actually doing a lot of work there for Swiffer, so having a Summoner spell when nobody else
Swiper.
did.
He's got 6. He can lay down the red carpet. They're just waiting for the right time for it. Instead, they're actually going to let the back complete.
With all the tempo that Swiper has had on the top side of the map, it hasn't resulted in a CS advantage. It's actually just been movement around the rift that he has been going for as his primary function, and through that, he hasn't found a crazy amount. You know, he got the assist on the first blood, or assist on the first kill, you know, so that's good. But the Vladimir is farming. The Vladimir is getting to those items and will be in a good position. The Spooks collapsing on Ayla.
They find it. However, they're going to go for the Flash Taunt and Wombo combo before Spooks can do a thing. He's taken down. Flash burnt already. It's Jake forced to get the heck out of there as well. Hemo play coming down on top of Raze. He's already flashed away, though. The rest of the Chiefs going to try and reroute once more, looking for Tally as he goes into the pool. Joining the rest of the team, Flash is flying on both sides. They turn their attention once more to Tally, who takes down Raze. A second taunt land, but there's no more damage. And Claire, he's caught out. Dream going to take him down with a Blade Caller.
They're still going.
Bubble coming up, and that's going to be a sleepy Rek'Sai. Red Smite down. He burrows over. Swiffer follows for the kill and Order take the lion's share.
And that Zoe is just having an absolute dream of a team fight. Everyone using Flash around her. Well, guess what? She's going to use them back to find the kills. Still even has one as the fight subsides. 2-0-1 is the mid laner of Order. That was a chaotic start to this game. The first big team fight here. It was a collapse by Order, but it's a collapse that the Chiefs say, let's do this, let's dance and take the fight. Good flash from Jake. Raze gets collapsed on and he's out of the fight here. So this is all, like, Chiefs caught in a very awkward position. So they try to use summoner spells to get themselves out of the dicey situation. But there is no safety if Raze wants to help. And from this moment, Spell Thieves Flash into Spell Thieves Flash into getting another one from Only on this backside here. What more could you possibly want?
Oh, for Swiffer, things are going so great right now. He's 2-0 up in the lane, and as a Zoe, we've already seen what happens if he doesn't get spoon-fed kills, but right now, 8 minutes in, he's going to start rolling on ahead. Once he gets a couple of items, it's going to be tough. We talked about this matchup favoring Claire's Yasuo, but he might be in some trouble after all.
So that's the thing. It's an easy day to be a Yasuo, but look at the item build that Swiffer did go towards. The early kill that he got was the result of, you know, the chaos on the Rift, and fair enough, it happens. But he immediately bought a Seeker's Arm Guard, stacked his armor. Yep. And from that, they haven't been able to kill Swiffer. The first combo that went down onto him from the Rek'Sai and the Yasuo didn't have enough damage. If he didn't have a Seeker's Arm Guard, he was most likely dead in that situation. And now that he's 2-0-1, he's got the stopwatch close to being enabled. He is so fed.
Now Spooks is going to get jumped on by Only. The mark brought to him. However, he's not pretty happy about what's happening. Well, Ayla will get that taunt on. Lamb's Spike comes through, and there's the last breath. Claire grabbing that kill back, but Only is going to get caught up by Swiffer again. The follow through, the Braum knockup, and now they've caught Claire forced to flash over the wall into the blue pit.
That was a good flash by Claire, but there's another flash coming.
Yeah, Swiffer's going to take both of them. Bubble comes out, doesn't land. Swiffer's still hunting. He wanted that damage, doesn't find it at the end, but he has chased Claire all the way out.
Yeah, not enough mana for Swiffer. Otherwise, he may have gone for that kill 100%. But at the end of the day, they'll get the blue buff. So he will get some extra mana into his back pocket. And once again, Zoe getting another kill. 300 bounty. If this was the patch ago, that bounty would be a lot higher.
Yeah, things starting to slow down a little bit more there on the bounties, but
Thank
this
God.
game's certainly not slowing down at all. 500 gold to lead at 10 minutes, and it's just scrappy back and forth. It's very different from what felt like a methodical game one, the level 1 shenanigans notwithstanding.
But this is what you want from the Chiefs. Not only have we seen that this is a way to beat Order, AV almost able to do that in some games yesterday. They were proven that there is a recipe there for aggression to try and keep Order down. Chiefs are the type of team that can use that early aggression, translate that into mid-game, slowing down when they've got the leads and closing a game out. That's what you'd want to see from them. But Order have not stopped fighting back at any possible moment. And Chiefs are committing so many resources into all-ins on those fights.
And they're just hunting for any kill they can find here. Spooks now is the one under fire. He's going to actually have to step into the pit here, but he should be able to hop it over. However, they catch him into the back in the last breath. Combos to help only take him down. Now Tally's coming in once more. The wind wall's thrown up as Shelly is aggroed in the pit. Only he's in some trouble. He's going to be forced to ult away, looking for Swiffer. And
Galio
now
in.
The hero's entrance coming in a little bit late there as he tries to tag forward, punching onto Tally, and they will just trade left and right. It keeps on coming. Chiefs get the better of that fight.
And this is just such an active game of League of Legends. Bottom lane's moving. Jungle is fighting constantly only. Always seems like he has the jump, and Spooks is not having a good day on Summoner's Rift. But overall, we're just going back and forth and trading.
Well, Spooks' loss is Swiffer's gain right now. He's 4-0 up in the kills, and he just keeps on finding them. So these mid laners are going to have such an impactful mid game, I feel. It's already been a great one in the early.
Absolutely. I mean, both junglers are just throwing their own health bars to the wayside. They're sacrificing themselves for the gains of the rest of the team. But Kindred still has 5 marks, so like it could be a lot worse for that Kindred. Rek'Sai is someone that doesn't actually get any advantages by these earlier picks. Zoe's going to be a menace to deal with in mid-game, 100%.
Even more than usual.
And the engage from Chiefs, you know, Choo-Choo's, the coach of Order, has mentioned this, and it still rings true. Without a Galio hitting a knock-up, it has to be a Flash Rek'Sai engage. Otherwise, Claire has to do all of the work himself.
Only does not have Flash just yet. It's about to come back up, finally, for him.
You would want them to go mid, but Stopwatch is also available now for the Zoe.
It's a thing. Spooks picks up his red buff here, keeping a attack of all of his marks in this game. He's definitely had a good start to him, even though he's been taken down a number of times. Hello, Ayla. He's forced to flash away, still caught out, and he just punches away, trying to hop his way to safety. And he's going to go down to Dream. Another feather stuck into his back.
Just a half second, they're caught in the shop as Only's found Dream now. He
That
should
Unburrow.
die.
Dream's forced to heal. They're going to try to get the outplay, and Lamb's respite, and they tag a team. It's going to be Only going down the Blade Caller. Dream had friends in his back, but Raze is there to finish the job. How about that play for Quinny K? Will he be able to make his escape, though? Winter's Bite proccing, and Order managed to get revenge for their bot lane.
And this is just a case of anything you can do, I can do better, but the fight continues. Swiper's teleported.
He'd already come in there, and he throws down an equalizer. Jake's caught out. Now the flash forward looking for Spooks here as Lamb's Respite's already spent into the Wolf's Frenzy. Doesn't really care about that. However, the bubble, the damage, they're going to tag in Claire once more as he looks for the hunt onto Swiffer.
And it's dodged. Swiffer's going to be able to survive. Blows a Raspberry on the way out. This game has just delivered right now. Game
So
number
scrappy.
2. Goal difference is still so close between these teams. Swiper finally gets into the fray and gets himself the team fight victory. Claire's probably still hunting as
There's
well.
a dive up towards the top side. Tally is going to be able to walk away. Only flashing forward, looking for that Unburrow action. Narrowly almost finds it, but he outplays Tally, taking down Raze on the opposite side. And let's see if he gets away from this one here. You can see the rest of Chiefs
There's
trying
a
to
Galio.
collapse on.
Tally's going to win this 1v1 if Rayla can't help him.
Oh boy, he just needs that blast cone pop. Only sticking on top of him.
Oh.
He will finally fall down, but now Only might even die to Dream. No, over the wall he goes. It just doesn't stop. There's fights happening all the time.
Tally may have been able to hit that explosive plant. Come on, let me speak.
I don't think it's happening. Claire going in, looking for even more damage. Last breath down onto the Dream, and Spooks just knows there's nothing he can do to stop that.
It's just so hard to know what's going to happen next. This is some kind of gladiatorial battle. We're all in the mid lane Coliseum right now.
Are you not entertained,
we'll
Rusty?
See who fights next. Ayla's going to come give some health back to Claire with his million stacks of his relic that he's got and hasn't been able to hit because he's been running down river. Oh, he didn't. Oh, Claire. Claire, you can't do that. It's rude.
Just a bit mean.
He has 2 relic stacks and that was a cannon.
That feels bad, man, when you don't give your support the proc.
As a commentator, I don't like picking sides, but as a support main, I'm feeling inclined. I'll say that much.
I don't think most people side with Yasuo mids, except Yasuo mids.
Yasuo's my most played.
Is he really?
Yeah, actually.
I would have guessed it would be Bard.
I play a lot of normals.
Okay. Yeah, okay. All right. You play Yasuo in normals?
Absolutely. Yasuo, Vayne, Lee Sin.
Oh, God. You're such a tryhard.
Just a bit of sweat.
Got to keep your MMR up. Looks like Chiefs are going to go for the Rift Herald here, but there's an order collapse. Bubble comes in, splitting Ayla from the rest of the team as the teleport comes out, and actually, Ayla cops it as he turns back on for the taunt. He's gonna go, though. Way too low, taken out in Claire. There's the red carpet down once more from Swiper, and the fight is going all order right now. Swiper trying to get a little bit more, but the Lambster's fight coming out, and he just can't find the kill. Goes a little sleepy, and it's gonna be Dream cleaning him up. It's a 3 for none.
An order absolutely clean up 3 for 0. The trade was for the Herald itself, but the cost was so high. Claire did not have his ultimate on the first knock-up on Swiffer. Things could have been different if he did, but not even a summoner spell needs to be used by the Zoe then. And Claire unfortunately throws himself to the Wolves to join the rest of his team as they die. This is not the bottom side of the Chiefs that you would expect to see.
Execute. What the heck?
Gonna give his temple a bit of a rub in there. What's 1-6? You know, he was already 1-5.
He didn't give anybody any experience in gold for that, so to be fair. Order do now knock down another tower, so quick succession, 2 towers taken. Tally gonna find only. He's got a 2-level advantage, though, and he's already been able to outplay him once before. Both these junglers just, throwing their bodies at every objective.
Herald Summon, there's no time to breathe on an Oceanic ARAM. But this is the League of Legends you come for.
It's an ARAM, but 3 lanes happening all the time. Shelly coming in as well. No one here to defend. So this will be a Chiefs turret take. Should be able to be defended by Order before the second charge can come in. And now only going to be onto the Ocean Dragon. But yeah, how about this game? We've got ourselves 22 kills, and we haven't had 17 minutes of game time.
Can I just say, this is what a scrim feels like for those at home. It's just people want to push their limits, you know, constantly fight people and see how much they can get done.
Yeah, test your might.
Sooner or later, this does slow down. But the thing is, the way that it's currently being played, it's unlikely that it's any time in the next couple of minutes, as there are still outer turrets standing that can be taken.
Swiper looking to take one of them himself. Chiefs definitely doing the best to keep pace with Order. There is a gold lead for Order after all of this carnage is settled. And it's about 2,500, but Chiefs can answer back.
Yeah, most of it will be through AD in mid lane, however. Not even through mid, really. AD carries bulk of the difference.
Holy moly, yeah, that's the difference.
And this
right
comes
there.
back to the point that I was saying before. This doesn't feel like the Chiefs' bottom lane that we know. Raze is notoriously good at not falling behind through the laning phase. He's very good at team fighting afterwards. And, you know, even though we call him the team fighting AD carry, Raze had a point to prove this split, that he's just a good AD carry at everything. But he's falling behind in lane now.
He is, and we've seen, even when that happened in the last game, he was still managing to pull some miracle fights, so I would not by any means count Raze out of it, and I don't think you are either. At the same time, though, Order are just firing on all cylinders, and a big part of it has been the bottom lane. Dream and Jake are just looking so damn good in this series, and especially for Dream, that first Gauntlet performance. Only's going to go down. That's another pickup. This time, Spooks grabs a kill, so he'll be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, and he gets another mark for that kill as well.
Oh, boy.
So we'll be very happy with the end result of that one. Jungler's having a pretty bad day on Summoner's Rift, but finally some respite for the Jungler of Order. Not so much for the Chiefs.
Yeah, Only will need his flash once again to try and make that big play combo. I think the person on the Chiefs side who's having the best game's probably got to be Claire at the moment. He's still pretty terrifying on the Yasuo, but they're still finding ways to play around him.
Yeah, Claire is very scary. He's going to have a pretty hard time killing his opponents, though, and this is something that we've mentioned. So
2-item Zoe.
I think what you would want to do if you were the Chiefs is you would put Claire on a side lane, but on the strong side of the map. So say the Baron is up and available in a minute. You probably put Claire top. He's already there. So, I mean, I'm kind of just moot-pointing this one. But you put him top lane so that you can hover towards him with the Galio ultimate. You have Swiper with the teleport available as well. And the thing is, Claire may not be able to win a team fight because he doesn't have a lot of setup or some massive wombo to work with him. But in a 1v1, I don't think there is a lot of things in League of Legends that can contest that Yasuo once he gets to the 2-item breakpoint as well. So that's probably what the Chiefs are going to be looking towards. Order on the flip side, very comfortable with grouping, very comfortable with sieging.
They've always been.
And they want to keep Claire away from that side lane and not letting him expose anybody in a 1v1.
Yeah, this is just what Order do so well, keeping themselves together and forcing the fights. Now, they do have Tally on the bottom side of the map, and he's been more than happy to take that. So far in this game, Spook's waiting around the back of the Baron pit. Baron will spawn in 15 seconds, by the way, but I don't know if Order wants to just opt into taking it quickly. It's not really their usual way to play.
No, it's not their thing. Their composition isn't the fastest at taking it either. They have 280 carries, so it's not going to be incredibly slow.
Yeah, no dragons to really assist it. We've only had one dragon take this entire game because both teams have just been focusing on the not neutral objectives, the kill everyone on the other team objective.
Yeah, it's been pretty hard to fight for the objective when people are always dead on both teams. So taking that one away is not going to be an easy feat.
It's good vision control here for Order, though.
Yeah, you'd think a lot of this setup is about keeping the Yasuo down as well, keeping him in the side lane, but not unlocking him to do anything. So playing against the Chiefs' potential win condition, or at least macro setup right now, is very smart from Order. I'm enjoying their play so far in this series.
Oh, it's looking so great. Day 3 for Order in the Gauntlet. They are truly on their way to running it. Already one game up here. It's been a lot for Order.
They also have no teleport, so as it stands, if they group like this and get vision control, Claire not only has to be careful while he clears the wave, but he can't join the fight.
Oh, there's the flash on Burrow looking for Swiffer. He's going to pop his Zani's Hourglass, and will he buy enough time for the team? Taunted just outside. He's able to get into the Lamb's Respite. They throw down the Equalizer, and they finally shut him down. It's Raze that gets the finisher. And Order, they're going to back away from this one, not fully engage onto it. Dream and Jake are stepping forward, though. Claire only looking for a play. That's a lot of damage. They're going to try to turn around. Featherstorm flying. Dream running away from this one, and he narrowly dodges out. The Void Seeker. Chiefs with the advantage, heading towards the Baron.
And at first thought, you're like 3 whole ultimates used just to kill Swiffer. The cost is so high, but then Dream steps up. And you don't expect to take that much damage from an Electro Harpoon, but Swiper really puts the pain down and just forces Dream back. Ultimate burn. Chiefs, they get a moment. And that moment could be a Baron gone if Order isn't careful.
Order's trying to move forward. Chiefs looking to peel off the side. Ayla waiting in the wings. There's the knockup from Jake, and they're going to get the taunt just onto the support. Baron will reset. She's going to try and re-aggro it. It's a 3v5 right now. However, Swiffer is back up and making a run for the pit. Chiefs are going to have to stop it.
There's no way they can do it. The turn would be too strong. Claire is the most behind enemy lines.
He wants the kill. Already got Swiffer down to half health. The portal jump not going to do a damn thing. And Claire sniffs out the prediction.
And I will say respectfully, Claire in the correct place. Swiffer shouldn't be there. He doesn't have vision on that side of the map. Chiefs are going to hit Baron again. Yeah, they're still squishy. Tally, if he gets them.
He's going forward. Looking for that Hemo Plague. Only lands it onto Swiper right now. Trying to go back. The flash forward. The last breath. They're going to be able to take the kill right there. Tally will fall. Low health bars on the Chiefs, but they win. Fight after fight.
It's just constant kills now, back and forth. There's never a moment where the Chiefs legitimately will kill that Baron if Order is nearby, but they're so comfortable waiting and turning immediately every single moment that they get that opportunity. And one by one, Order have been giving them those opportunities to stop the Baron from being taken, because the threat of doing it is there. The damage is high.
I love it. It's just fight after fight. Both teams just keep throwing left and right hooks. It's like watching two kangaroos box, Rusty.
Yeah, you know, I would say that kangaroos are actually much more proficient in their kick game, which is a fact for you.
Yeah, well, that's the knockout. That's the thing. Neither team's knocking each other out. They just keep going blow for blow. 23 minutes. We've got 14 kills on the Order side, 13 on the Chiefs. This is an absolute slobber knocker.
It certainly is. And really, the winner right now, the person in control of the map, while it is a gold lead for Order, it is Chiefs that have got more control over Summoner's Rift. In saying that, if you slow down the game, you take stock of where you currently are on the Rift if you're Order, you're actually still in a pretty comfortable position. The things that you now have for yourself that are a big deal is the Kindred ultimate for the team fighting, the Vladimir Flash as well. But Claire, a serial pest right now.
Oh, Tally does want to take the fight to him there, and Claire just bursting him down. Oh, boy.
100% crit chance. That's not going to get any better for the Rumble ultimate mid as well. Dream.
Yeah, Swiper looking for Dream right now. They will pull back on the Blade Caller. That's a lot of damage, and he's going down. Popped out of his mech suit. It's a 4v4. Neither top laner alive.
And just trying to do too much at the same time. It felt like their Chiefs, you can take the damage on a Dream and walk over to Baron if you'd like. You can take the damage and just pressure the mid lane. But the opportunity given over, Swiffer may actually go for a flash bubble here. It's hard to say.
Bubble does. Second one missing there. ALS still a pretty tanky boy.
But Claire is huge. That's the one thing. The Chiefs will use Claire to win this game if they can. No one can 1v1 Claire. That is just a fact.
And he's just being a massive pest on the side lanes, pushing in wave after wave. Tally will come to join and push down on that bottom side. He's teleport, of course, so he can rejoin the team.
I don't think you want Kindred to go down there either, if I'm going to be honest with you.
No, I don't think so.
With a Guardian Angel complete for that Kindred, the risk of losing it, just trying to stop that Yasuo is too high.
Only. Great job at sidestepping around the bubble. Swiffer could be in some trouble here as Raze lands the W onto him. They're trying to set up for a play. He's going to burn his flash, his Spell Thief's flash, I should say. Back to the safety of the team.
Constant hunting right now. Ever vigilant has to be Order. With real summoners available still, though, Swiffer is in a comfy position. It's Dream that's at risk. It's Spooks that's at risk. That Guardian Angel is such a fragile item purchase for a Kindred. If you are 3 and 6, definitely not ahead on the map, and you lose a single team fight, or you get picked even a single time, that Guardian Angel's worth goes down a lot. So it needs to be very respectful here, because at the current moment, it is still a good purchase. Their team fighting is what benefits from that. The Vladimir is a team fighting champion as well. Mention the flash. That's what he'd look for, but the Chiefs don't want to do that.
All right, Blast Cone popped. Raze decides he doesn't want to try and take the one-on-one. Tally deep behind enemy lines for now.
That was cute, though, from Raze. Taking the Blast Cone actually denies the exit path there for the Vladimir, so Yasuo could have looked for the 1v1, perhaps, but the wave was already pushed.
Oh, tagged on to Only. It's Jake hopping forward with Stand Behind Me. Order doing a great job of keeping waves cleared, though. And here's the Chiefs trying to go in for the play. Equalizer thrown down first. Swiffer nearly equalized on his health bar.
It's great damage. Just really good from the Chiefs here, being patient.
That win wall.
You don't often see a Rumble use the Equalizer just to poke and get some health bars low, but the damage that it actually put down is very important. It means that a Zoe has to base. If she chooses to stay, there's too much kill threat.
But Chiefs aren't going to go rushing for the Baron. We saw them try this a couple of times. They won a few fights. However, they are afraid of the collapse from the Order side. Swiper coming around again. And that's a great play caller to stop out Only, and he's all of a sudden nearly down to 0, and there he goes. Tally into the back line, and now they're looking for the Galio Heroes entrance. It's a flash away. The double kill still comes through as Raze is out of there. Chiefs lose 2 in the blink of an eye, and Tally goes absolutely Super Saiyan in this fight.
And the flash from the Vladimir. We just said he wants to team fight with it, and that's exactly what he does. Raptors actually come up as a quietly MVP there for them. Dream's going to start the Baron off, and Order, with those kills, have now put themselves 4,000 gold in the lead. And there's the Baron. They are doing it.
This is huge. Only still 8 seconds from respawning. There's no chance the Chiefs could even try to contest this one. So this is a 5-member Baron for Order in game number 2. They're already 1 in the lead. Rusty. Order pulling ahead.
And it felt so simple to me. They just don't need to do this if you're the Chiefs, but you give Tally the opportunity to be aggressive, to go forwards and secure kills. That's exactly what he will get done. Able to go forwards once again, use the flash, take down Claire. Claire realizes there's no safe place and tries to trade. But Kindred just exists, makes it too hard. Tally having, honestly, one of the gauntlets of his career, stepping up massive for the team. He's had a good split, but everyone's working around him now brilliantly.
Yeah, Tally's been an absolute beast of a player. And well, you talked about how no one could 1v1 Claire on the side lane earlier in the game. I feel like that is probably about to change if they decide to have a side lane play. Chiefs will be wanting to pull Tally, but he's happy to team fight.
I mean, I still think that no one can 1v1 him in a side lane when the Sterix Gauge is there, one of the bigger counters of Vladimir's burst, and 100% crit kind of means a little bit too much.
That is a lot.
So
Pool's a thing, but the Kindred ult was definitely necessary.
If it's isolated still, Yasuo would win, but I think you're correct in that it probably won't get to be just an isolated play. Claire is looking to force that right now, however. He is the most far forwards in terms of positioning, trying to clear these waves out ASAP. But Vlad's bottom.
And he's got Baron-empowered minions. This is going to be Order just joining up with him on 2 fronts. They've got a 3-2 going on. And Order could just trade more efficiently.
And how do they stop this? How do they stop this without the Yasuo there? He has to recall, but the damage is already done to the structures. They're going to lose turrets here, and inhibitors may soon follow. The bluff's called. Order wins.
Yeah, it looks like it. Chiefs are going to be able to stop nothing, in fact, because Order just take away an inhibitor down bot. They don't lose anything.
Vladimir pressed Q on Swiper, and he's going back to base. That was a Q, a single button.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Baron-empowered recall. Things are looking so good for Order in this game, and this whole Gauntlet, to be honest. What a run they've had already.
It's actually such a fragile Rumble build. Really tragic against the team fight. And just incidental damage that'll probably go down onto him as well. I respect the Zhonya's choice. That's obviously very important. Morello's is for laning phase as well. But he needs that 3rd item, and he needs potentially the 4th item before he really comes about. And by that stage, Vladimir's just going to be a better version of that Rumble, really. He picked to win lane. You absolutely pick magic damage Rumble into the Vladimir to control him and keep him down. But the amount of time that Swiper spent out of that lane He was never able to do that at all.
Yeah, Tally's got a 3-level advantage on him right now. That's how big the difference is between these two carries.
I do think that, coming back to this draft as well, the Rek'Sai pick is something that really feels like the bigger detriment for them. And I would say that in retrospect, something like even the Elise could have been better for the Chiefs. Just having that option would have been super crucial for them, but the Gragas ban was very smart from Order, taking away that option as the Yasuo was an early pick. And it's about magic damage. That's why Rumble exists. I'll say that much. Swiper, he got a good lane. He got the Rumble for magic damage.
They did have good plays too, right? I mean, this game didn't really start breaking away until Order got that big fight, because they'd had an early gold lead that had been kind of cut down by Chiefs. But once Chiefs couldn't apply the same amount of pressure that Order could on the map, things started going sideways. And now here we are with a 7,000 gold lead.
And I'm not sure that there is a way back into this game if you are the Chiefs. That's the concern. 7,000 quickly becomes 8, becomes 10. But we are getting item break points for Chiefs. That is a takeaway here. No Zonias, however, for Raze, as he's gone towards the Nashas too. It's probably an item away. He really needs that if he wants to live in a team fight. So right now, if you're Raze, you have to acknowledge the fact that you're most likely just going to die in a team fight. You need to do as much damage as you can prior to that death. Play the perfect fight and just hope that Claire is able to do his damage.
Sleepy Trouble bubble. He's going to get caught out, but Ayla might just sacrifice himself for it. Windwall goes up, and Swiffer goes through it, taking down the support of Chiefs. Man advantage now. No Baron, no problem.
And picks up the redemption that was used to try and keep Ayla alive. Proto Bell to secure the kill from a Spell Thief. Swiffer, you can't give this man Zoe. I feel like the Gauntlet has proven that as well. He's playing out of his mind at the moment on this pick alone. QSS used. Claire, not safe to defend this one. Baron will be what ends the game, you would expect, but they don't need it to poke them down.
And they don't need it to take down a tower. Opening up the base in the mid lane, there's already a downed inhibitor down bottom. That is going to be an equalizer thrown out defensively, but Swiper taking himself a bit of a nap on the job. Second inhib taken out by Order.
Had the Zonias chose not to use it, used the equalizer instead, and he's made to pay for it. Didn't flash away either. And they have enough damage, Order, at this stage. They just continue to post up, set up the next objective. Baron in a minute. Top lane wave control is the name of the game. Chiefs looking to cheese them before they get the wave control. Perhaps catch them so they get some Baron set up. But Order playing too smart right now. We'll see if that changes.
Who's baiting who here? Only forced to flash away. There's still this brush bait for Spooks. How far will he step?
That's far enough.
All right, they're going to go.
Oh,
no. You hate to see it.
Ayla could absolutely have gone for the Justice Punch instead of channeling the W, and he could have flashed as well if they wanted to commit to that. I personally think that was a moment where you have to flash.
And they spent so much time. There's super minions already on the bottom. They have to get back and defend. Baron's in another 25 seconds. Order in a prime position to just straight up take it away.
And you can't tell me this is anything other than desperate the way the Chiefs are playing. They're bush camping. They're desperately trying to hold everything they can. One member stands resolute on the team in Claire, but he's just pulled apart, and he can't actually get anything done because Order play away from him.
And that's what's so smart about it. They just get themselves into a position where they force Chiefs into no good options. Baron is going to spawn immediately fired on by Order. Swiffer is just going to be guarding several entrances to the pit, sends out that beach ball just to keep Chiefs from having a good time, and Baron is already out of there.
They just concede the objective. The Chiefs know full well what's more important right now is setting up side waves and getting rid of some super minions as best they can. They're going to clear bot wave. They pushed out top a little bit, so that's an extra 30-odd seconds bought, where Order have to walk from mid to top lane, push the wave in. But I really don't think that the Chiefs can stop this turret from being pushed. The goal difference is 10,000. They are so far behind in items as well. And realistically, the Chiefs' best option right now is fight before it crashes on the turret. Do not let them post up. Do not let them set up the Zoe. Hit the equalizer straight away. Hit the Unburrow if you can. Do something now before it's too late.
Oh boy. Operation Protect the Cannon Creep in full swing right now. Tally just solo down on the bottom side while there's nobody at home to defend him.
And
Chiefs
they just
need to
have
pull a
no
fight.
force. But they have no hard force. Only doesn't have flash. Rek'Sai can't force the fights. They've got Ayla. He has to go.
They're going to throw down that equalizer. That's a bit of damage. Redemption already there. And Claire hunting now for Swiffer as he jukes and dodges around the side. Tally looking to flank once more. He's pushed back away in the Electro Harpoon and even manages to dodge a little bit out.
with the Hextech Proto Belt. That tower's going to fall. The rest of Order coming up with even more, and only he's caught out and on the wrong side of the map. That's going to be another kill picked up by the Zoe. Desperation as they go on to tally here, but Chiefs, they're falling apart, falling to bits, and they are losing absolutely everything here. Ayla tries to be the hero, but he simply cannot. And the last man standing is Quinny K, but you can't say that about the towers or the Nexus. Chiefs are going to lose another one, and Order on the verge of a clean sweep.
Order putting themselves 2-0 up in this series. They went 3-0 yesterday, and they're getting cleaner and cleaner every single day you watch them play. They have got so much momentum right now, and I really am terrified for the Chiefs if that's the Order that they're going up against in every single game. You go chaotic against them in the second game and it doesn't work. You go methodical against them in the first game and it doesn't work. I think we're about to see the kitchen sink thrown at them in game 3, because honestly it takes it if you want to try and beat Order right now.
I mean, you've absolutely got to, but this is the thing. You can throw as much entropy as you want. Order are going to clean it up. 2 games in a row now. They've literally gone on a 5-game winning streak between the last 2 days, losing 1 game in the Gauntlet in total. This is such an impressive run from this squad.
And when you consider the consistency through the drafts that Order have in every single game, the fact that they're able to play this way and still be able to no matter what their opponents do is honestly inspiring, right? Like you need to now look at the draft if you're the Chiefs, and you know from 2 days ago, you know from yesterday, and you know today through experience that they will just continue to do the same thing, and you just have to take from them. You don't have to adapt yourself anymore. You have to take everything that you can from them. I think the Zoe should be taken away first and foremost. If he's blind
100%.
picking it in every matchup, even in the matchups that'll counter him, like Swiffer's too confident, so get rid of his confident pick. You know that you can handle the Kindred, but it's the comp that's scary. The Vladimir is scary. Like you got to actually force them into bad things in draft. Chiefs are a good drafting team, so they should be able to do that.
No, I agree. I think they might want to start giving up some of those other things they've taken for granted, even if it's like a power pick like the likes of a Silas. You feel like Swiffer is a big threat in this series more than he has been. And, well, if it's not now, then never, like, as far as Chiefs trying to mix it up, because they're on the verge of getting knocked out 0-3.
And if you ask me, the secret is to put Swiper back on his weak side and just put a big raise down in that bottom lane. Like, give me the Cogmore comp and just hard carry through him, because that's where it has to be.
Absolutely. Well, it looks like Order are flipping wins, but let's go flip some burgers, take a quick break before we send it back to the couch.
We don't believe in labels at Macca's, like dinner or breakfast, so we're getting rid of them. Now you can enjoy dinner or breakfast whenever you want it. McDonald's all-day menu, available 24/7.
I mean, come on. If the last game was slow, this was a slugfest from the get-go. We're looking at 30 kills in 26 minutes.
Yeah, for anyone that subscribes to the Book of Spawn for League of Legends, even though I casted the LPL, I'm a big fan of, like, slow it down, gain control, fight over something meaningful.
Yeah.
In my opinion, Kindred marks are not on the meaningful list. Like, Baron buff, meaningful. Dragons, sometimes meaningful. Turrets, very meaningful. Kindred marks, meaningless at that stage of the game. But Spooks, I love him, had a very different opinion on when he should be fighting. And every mark that came up, he just, like, sacked everything and just jogged there.
He was farming them like he was storing them for winter or something. It was nuts. And I mean, but the thing is, farming the marks, he gets 3 deaths. Every one of those first 3 deaths actually went badly for Chiefs.
Absolutely.
Every engage there, it was almost like a bait every time. He dies 3 times and he's still OP by 10 minutes.
Yeah, bait, strong word.
Yeah, right.
I would say Order following and, like, catching the throw a little bit. Like, good word. It was like, when you saw the first Crab, you were like, oh, he wants to farm marks. Because he had mid lane being pushed in, bottom lane being pushed in. He faked bottom gank and got bot lane a little bit of tempo, a little bit of movement, and then was like straight away on it. Like, I want this. Like, he gets flashed on. He immediately, like, full bottom side jungle available, immediately goes back to top side and is like, okay, I'm going to take this one. Dies, gets Swiffer chunked out, but somehow they trade there as well. And I think that this game was like just jockeying for position. And the thing that happened in this game was that teams refused to seed where they were seeding in game one. Where Order were like, okay, we're not strong at the moment. You can have our topside vision control in game one. This game, they're like, no, like, we fight here. And where Chiefs were like, you know, Baron's not up and available. You don't have a real tank. You can start it and we'll check afterwards, but, like, you can head there. They were like, no, we're staunching you on mid lane wave. Like, there was a very staunch game coming out. And the problem is you can staunch for so long, but as soon as Vladimir gets 3 items, like, you can't staunch a Vladimir. He goes under you.
Yeah.
Like, you can't keep him out at all. And Jimmy, when he one-hit 3 people in the middle lane team fight, was just like rolling over the top of the Chiefs. And I think that the Chiefs kind of underestimated at that stage of the game how much damage Tally was going to do.
The Chiefs had the right idea, though, it seemed like, going into draft, that they went, well, we're going to draft aggressive. We're going to see what happens. Did you even know that Claire plays Yasuo?
No, so Claire playing Yasuo like really caught me by surprise. Plays a little bit in solo queue, but like I assume everyone does because he's just such a fun champion.
Yep.
Haven't really encountered it in a pro play. It is good into Zoe. They know Swiffer likes Zoe, so I think that was really good scouting. And Volt kind of said before the game that he was very confident in the preparation they've done. And I think that's hats off because that certainly was a game-winning pick. I think that as soon as you give Swiffer 3 kills on the Zoe, the matchup should flip, and it kind of did. And then Claire scaled up after some good team fighting. But that was one of those games where they didn't have good setup for it. There was no Gragas, no Lee Sin, nothing coming out of the jungle like that. So they wanted Claire to be able to split push. The reason they had Galio is Galio can kind of staunch the 4-man unit mid, duck into the side of the map that Claire's split pushing on, and no one would have been able to touch Claire. Problem is that Order have shown time and time again this weekend that they refuse to play split push against you. They'll give you the turret.
Yeah.
And then they'll just try and go harder with their 5-man unit.
Yeah.
And I think that Chiefs saw that yesterday against Avant and kind of calculated, said, we can buy into this a little bit. Maybe we can push them a bit harder. But Order just making very good decisions at the right time on Summoner's Rift at the moment.
And Swiffer playing a very, very good early game. There was some mistakes there in mid, but would you say it's the best game in the Gauntlet for him so far?
Yeah, I would, because he was under extreme pressure, right? He's playing into a hard counter pick, in my opinion, and Russ's opinion, so you've got to take that on board.
He has no idea what Spooks is doing for the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, exactly right. His jungle is dying around him, like... Tally is on like a hard carry, but Vladimir needs time and items, and Rumble's going to be able to push in. So he's kind of playing 3v1.
Yeah.
And the top side of the map is just like creeping in on Swiffer. And then all of a sudden, like bottom lane breathes some life into the game. He gets a couple of kills as well, and it does start turning around. But I really respect when players can do that mental fortitude to weather the storm, knowing there is like sunshine at the end of the tunnel when you're going to be able to get to that 3-item mark. And that pressure has been put on Order a lot. You know, you're better at 3 items. Get there, like go. And I think that so far they've risen to the occasion, and nothing like this game.
So let's talk about Chiefs, because I was excited about the fact that they were playing super aggressive at the beginning, and you know it made for entertaining gameplay. But it also felt like they were playing scared. They were like making panic plays.
Yeah, I think panicked is a better way. I don't think they're really scared. I think they want to throw fists, but
more reactionary than
Yeah, Order is drafting comps that do stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas Chiefs are drafting comps that allow you to make the mistake and then punish really hard.
Yeah.
And then when Order weren't making many mistakes, I mean, Swiffer did face check a couple of times this game. So in those situations, like Chiefs started Baron, baited Order in, killed a couple of them, went back to Baron, killed a couple more of them. They didn't get the Baron, but they made up like
45 minutes though.
Yeah, they made up like 3,500 gold in that period.
Yeah.
That's what I mean when I say the Chiefs and the Bombers at their best are letting the game come to them and like really punishing. When Order said, okay, let's slow down, the Chiefs were like, once again, like that staunch mentality. Like, okay, cool. We need to kind of force a mistake. We're not going to do that by flashing on them. But we're going to play a little bit more aggressive. We're going to play a little bit more in their face. And then when Order kind of played that way back, it kind of was like the Chiefs were like, oh, crap, we didn't expect them to just group us 5 and run into us. Like, we expected a different answer. And I think that this isn't, I mean, Order hasn't played this well. Like, to call a spade. Like, if you're Chiefs and you played Order 3 times this year and you've scrimmed against them the whole year, they're a known beast. And now this Gauntlet, Order seems to have elevated somehow, somewhere. And like, you're still in the back of your head thinking, you know, in week 5, when we approach mid lane like this, they cede control.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh crap, they're like fighting us for it this time around. Like, what's going on? So I think that a couple of those misnomers are being broken right now about Order, and it's catching teams by surprise. In saying that, I think the Chiefs did really good to recover that game, because that game should have been over at like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And at 30 minutes, like, it was still pretty even. And then Order did get the Baron and close the game out, but like, some of those fights were so touch and go.
It seemed like Swiper was not too involved there in the early game. Who was the standout on Chiefs for you that game?
I think that Claire had a really, really impressive performance. I think that Swiper and Ayla are the two that are kind of going missing for me.
Yeah.
And I think Raze and Claire are elevating their gameplay. They are big game players. They always have been. And I think that if anyone can kind of lift their floor and allow them a platform to launch off, they just need one of their utility players to play well. They're going to be able to really carry these games. Like, we're at 2-0 right now. I'm still shaking, like, upstairs. I'm still yelling, like, really, really loudly. Like, this is... this is a team that until their Nexus explodes for the third time, like I'm not going to take anything for granted, and I don't think anyone on Order sees it that way. So I think that, get Swiper on a hard tank. Like, he's played a Bruiser, he's played a Mage. Just sack it, go back to a hard tank. I don't know if they've taken red, but give up blue.
I just got word that Chiefs have taken blue.
They've taken blue. So that's what I was going to say. So give up the red side.
Yeah.
Take blue. Get the best AD carry for Raze. Like, he is a hard carry. Get him the Xayah.
Yeah.
Like, Dream's taking it away from him. It's Dream's best champion, but Xayah is, like, Raze's best champion. Get that for Raze. Play the aggressive staunch AD carry, and then just get Swiper on a tank, get only on a tank. Go back to what was working for you, early on in the season. I think that this could still be the start of a terrific series.
Obviously there's the champion choices, there's the gameplay, but there's also the mental hurdle now for Chiefs because they are facing down the barrel of the gun here that ought to have their foot on their throat, but it's a very big throat. And so what do Chiefs do mentally to be able to turn this around?
This is when your leaders come into play. Like, I would be very surprised if Volt is sitting there like, we're going to change this in draft and we're going to do this. Like, I think this is a moment where you let everyone sit down for 2 or 3 minutes and you go, guys, breathe it in. We came together to get it to a grand final and potentially win this thing. Right now, backs are against the wall, but, we need to stay together. We need to play our style of League of Legends. And I think that's where Swiper comes into play. I think that's where someone like Raze comes into play. Get the boys fired up. Juice was really good at doing it back in his day. The mirror talks.
From what I could tell on Twitter, he's still good at doing it now.
Yeah, the mirror talks were like really, really good for Sin back in the day. So I think that, this is where your coaching staff has done their job. They've got you 2 really solid drafts, and you kind of botched them, to be honest, if you're the Chiefs. I think that you look now at the leaders in the team, and it's like, guys, this isn't good enough. Like, with all due respect, if they lose to Order 3-0 today, that's not good enough. That's not Chiefs League of Legends. They want to come out, they want to smash it. And I think their proud captains would be really pushing that, we got to go out there. We got to really give them we got to push the tempo of this game.
And so then what's the advice for Order? Because they're now in a situation where they can taste it. They can taste getting into the game next week with Bombers. They are 1 game away. How do they cope with this pressure, which arguably could be more for them because they could throw it?
Yeah, absolutely. And, there was always that fool's hope for Order. They came together and they were like, we're a good team. 5-2, we've got it. They started believing and it fell off the biggest cliff, into Mount Doom style. And, now they've finally crawled their way back there. Smeagol's just jumped on Frodo out of the dark, bitten his finger off or something. They just need someone that says, hey guys, we made it this far. Don't change anything.
Yeah.
We've played a red side game. It was a victory. We're 100% on red side. All those memey things, really calm players down and fight around control. Stay calm, scale up. Tally at the moment is a legitimate 1v5 player, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Get James on a counter pick, which you can on red side. Scale into late game. Let him do the job. Ronan and Dream and Jake are playing so incredibly well in the bottom lane, batten down the hatches. They're going up against a terrific bottom lane, but if they weather the storm, I really do think the top side of the map have the Chiefs covered right now.
All right, the advice for both teams is just, boys, do what you do. I am so tense. Can't imagine how you feel. I can't imagine how the 10 guys in those 2 rooms feel. There's only one way to find out. It is with the McDonald's Champion Select. So let's throw it to the desk with Rusty and Pyra.
Well done, Nick. Boy. I just wanted to say as well, because those two talking on the couch, I actually just wanted to bring up Sport. You could hear him shaking in his voice, but the fact that he just got through a full segment is the sign of a true professional.
It really is.
The most nervous I've ever seen him in his entire life. And he's done Worlds Finals.
Yeah, well, at this point, there's good reason to do it. Order might be 2-0 up right now, but it's still a tough task, even against the Chiefs. They got to put it away a 3rd time in a row.
And that's the thing. Sport mentioned this, and I was going to mention this, so I'm glad he did. The stage day players. You put Claire on a big stage and say you need to carry... if you tell Claire his job is to 1v9 and everyone else on your team has joined Order... he says yes and does it. That's the type of clutch player that Claire is. When you put Raze on a carry, you put him 40 minutes into a game, 10,000 gold down, and say this is a team fight that you need to win, he always wins that team fight. He does these things. Those 2 players are miracle workers when they have no right to be. They're just that good. But it's the rest of the team of the Chiefs that really needs to step up. The auxiliaries that need to step up when it matters the most. Because right now, they are falling behind, and that's exactly where Order are proving to be too strong. Tally has been a monster.
He absolutely has been. Now as things switch up in this game, swapping sides, Chiefs to blue. They banned the Zoe away from Swiffer for the first time this series. First picking the Braum for Ayla as well. This will give Order a chance to go for the Xayah Rakan combo, however. Will they do it? Silas been left up, though, and it's into Tally's hands.
So for what it's worth, Braum is actually an entirely neutralizing lane for the Xayah and the Rakan. It's specifically good into the Xayah, though, of course, having the door for the feathers. So
Right.
Rakan's still a very good option here. People do love playing Rakan into Braum. I would not be shocked to see that from Order, but with Silas left up and available, I mean, it does make a lot of sense that you'll go towards this pick. And where I am curious is what do the Chiefs play top lane into that Silas? Because there's expectations that a Ryze, or, you know, something like that, of course, Ryze being banned, is available in mid lane. There are picks in mid. But top lane, Swiper's always got a set champion pool. He's not always known as the mage guy. He's the tank player, and Silas loves that.
So Order definitely did the research well to prep for it, forcing on this side this different kind of pick and ban as things have moved around here. It does mean that the Silas falls into their hands. Lysandra and Zach comes through for Chiefs here, setting up for a fair amount of engage. Over to Order's side for the last pick of this first phase. Wouldn't be too surprised to see the Rakan, but we're taking their time before they do lock it in for Jake.
And it's really hard to look at this draft right now and say that Order are going to lose this game, just from those three champions alone.
Even
right?
if you take the 0-2 and just cover it up with some duct tape.
That's exactly. In a time chamber, in theoretical world, in a vacuum, this is just a really good draft at the moment. It's about how do they finish it out, however, because they've got engage, they've got damage, they've got the mobility of a Silas. You know, he can go between two lanes. The flexibility is there through the draft. Aurelia is another champion that they could even consider and look towards. Vladimir as well. The Chiefs have gone for the List. List can be flexed if Swiper is willing to play that champion. They've got engage, they've got follow-up. This is the setup for a composition where Raze can hard carry as well. You may see something like the Caitlyn if he wants to be super aggressive, but against Xayah Rakan, a non-mobile AD carry is a risk.
And Order getting a chance to ban out a handful of AD carries as well. They now take the Draven away in addition to Kai'Sa. So despite the fact the Chiefs were on blue side, they didn't opt to pick Raze up a pick early on. Something you talked about on the couch could be beneficial instead. They fill out the rest of the map, and now Raze champ pool gets hit a bit.
Absolutely, and the Vladimir that I spoke about as well, taken off the board. Aurelia, the other one I mentioned, of course, it's just flexible, but Tally has been known to play some other champions, and with jungle and top lane not locked in or confirmed for Order, the Urgot ban is a very smart one at that, so denying some picks here.
I wonder, Chiefs can still go for the Yasuo again here and flex that Lysandra up to the top. They have two knockups on their team already, and they could still lock in a Lee. Well, Lee Sin, no, because they've got a Zac. Excuse me. But we'll talk about that in a minute because Order take for Spooks. The Sejuani. A little bit of tanky front line there.
Absolutely. The Sejuani, the big tank, the engage tool for the team potentially. But more importantly, just a lot of health is the Varus.
Comes in for Quinny K.
Varus being locked in here. Now, oh, and there's the Kled, of course.
Okay.
Swiper.
All right.
Don't be shocked by this one. You know, some people will look at the Silas matchup and feel pretty comfortable being the Silas, but when you're a Kled main, you can do whatever you like in a Silas, and Kled has actually been seen by Kled mains around the world as a favorable Kled matchup.
Always trust your own champion pool, your own comfort level. If you are the rock in the top lane, that is no exception. Last pick comes in here. It is the Syndra for Swiffer. So a little bit of changes in that mid, some changes in the bottom lane. Chiefs sticking to their guns for what could be their final game. They will need to reverse sweep Order to make it to a date with Destiny up against Bombers next week in the finals. Order looking to sweep them out of the picture entirely in this game.
And there was a game earlier in this split, if memory serves. It was Order against Gravitas, where Hayri locked in the Syndra in the mid lane. Order had Zac and a Lysandra, and they made his life a living hell. The amount of gank setup that you have is so high that even the cleanse doesn't often save you, and if you use that once, there is the biggest mark upon your head. So Order, they've picked a winning mid lane, isolated 1v1 matchup. But if you bring the Zac into play, there is some risk there, and that's a very dangerous thing they have to contend with. Swiffer will have to play out of his mind, because not only do you want to win the lane, you need to not die if you're winning the lane, and when you win, you push.
I feel like if you're watching this game, it's just like last time. You want to be watching these junglers. Only is going to be a big part of it early on. I think Spooks is going to be able to do a fair bit as well to help move things forward, and probably going to be defending Swiffer.
Yeah, the other place that I will be curious to watch how this pans out is Raze. He's picked the Varus. Now, Varus has always been a pretty strong control AD carry, you know, has the ultimate for engage, has got the potential of the on-hit build, but he also has the potential of going for the lethality option here, and that is what I'm curious to see if he goes towards. Now, I wouldn't expect it, but if he wants to win lane, if that's his primary purpose, then absolutely he could. He could keep Dream and Jake down. But he may want to go for that on hit build because the damage is necessary against the front line against the Sejuani. But you'll probably see that through his Keystone Runes of choice, and as you would note, he's not going lethality.
All right, no lethality, so none of those shenanigans. But for Chiefs, they are backed against the walls right now. 2-0 up in Order's favor as they look to start on a level 1 play. Tally on the bottom side. And Order just need one more game to make it to the finals for the first time in the Org's history. Force the flash out of Ayla. That's a good start there.
And you've got to know better if you're the Chiefs. That is predictable. Every single time Order has that Sylas. Of course, the side of the map changes for them, but the play is the exact same. Nobody wants to early ward in League of Legends. You feel like you've left too many gaps in control, especially in the first rotation for junglers. But if you don't, and the Sylas finds you, you've flashed instead of warding. And I feel like the trade's always worth it as they go again.
Yeah, now this time Tally finds Claire, even though he did take the damage early on. Forces another flash.
How many flashes can we force at level 1 just by being Sylas?
A lot. Apparently that number is at least 2. And now Dream has Raze walk into his brush. So keeping track of it, 2 flashes burn to kick things off. 1 in the mid lane and 1 in the support role. So Chiefs already starting with the disadvantage here.
The mid lane one is actually very significant. Of course, it does mean that Claire may go for the claw as soon as possible. I believe he started with a W there as well.
I thought Swiper might be going in a little deep. He actually just throws the ward down onto the Krug pit.
Yeah, so Swiper actually always does this. It's very nice. The ward that he places at the Krugs is because he knows that Sylas is leashing for the red buff, and he can take the 1v1 trade in that tri-bush anyway. It's more of a variant on what the Urgot of Tally did. So instead of taking the fight in the bush, he chooses to get vision at the Krugs, and it's a late ward, and it's very good vision, because if Spooks doesn't go for those Krugs, you have to presume he's gone Raptors into bot side or Scuttle, but you've got to ward at Scuttle anyway.
Now, whenever there is a Sylas in the game, since we don't often get to see him, he's banned quite a lot of the time, always want to take stock of what he's got to work with as far as hijacking ultimates. And it is a smorgasbord available for him right now. Everybody on Chief's side has ultimates that he would want.
He's got very good ones. Of course, his biggest primary function right now is, can I survive the laning phase? Because if yes, then we're going to have a pretty good time on Summoner's Rift. Sylas has always been regarded as like better Lissandra in the mid lane 1v1 matchup. So there was always a chance where they put that towards mid and take that, but Swiffer going confidence as we hold that thought.
Ooh, bit of a Scuttle fight here.
I think Spooks now wins that.
Yeah, Spooks is pretty happy cooldowns were there, and you can see Tally was already starting to trend towards that side, so with the ward down, that'll be spotted. However, Scuttle control goes the way of Spooks. Claire is in trouble. Still no flash, as you said early on in this game.
When junglers spot each other, it means that mid laners are actually free to start using their spells. One of the biggest reasons as to why games go so crazy is Spooks just headbutts him and doesn't get over the wall.
Ooh, boy. Only going to be a little delayed on his blue buff. Swiper is actually going to be called in to help here, and Tally's going to join the fray. We might be in for a little skirmish. Bear trap on a rope. Flashes over. That is the bear. And blue buff is aggroed in all of this.
Tally
the chain's getting whipped up. Tally going forward, looking for only. In fact, they found the damage onto both him and Swiper. Swiffer going to join the fray. Scarl's popped off. And Order.
But Claire is in the most trouble here of all.
That's a flash forward, scattering the weekend. Tally is going to pick it up. First blood actually goes the way of Swiffer.
The Syndra picking up the first blood, still no flash available for Claire as well, and suddenly this early game blows wide open. It's not just tank battles, it's about lane priority. And that lane priority in mid lane means a little bit too much. Claire can't afford to walk over. They should just be disengaging and sacrificing the blue buff. But the cost of that sacrifice is so high, the Chiefs, they still choose to take it. And they are made to pay for that. They get the flash, however, out of the jungler and the top laner of Order, so the opportunity to fight back is available, but that's a dangerous start to give over to someone like Order with the form that they're currently in.
You are absolutely right about that one. Big start for Order. 1,000 gold to lead. First 5 minutes of this game, a 2-0 lead on this series. They are within touching distance of the finals, of upending Chiefs here. They can taste it. And Order are just in absolutely rare form.
Stun's going to be on here as well.
Two-hand!
Both of them.
Oh, nice job on that scout of the week.
They're
Only turn back around. This time they look for Spooks. The damage could be there. There's a great collapse from the rest of the Chiefs. In fact, 4 members brought to the party. Only is going to claim the first kill as Jake and Swiffer try desperately to walk away.
Oh, that stun was close to connecting. Swiffer's still alive as he does get stunned down, but
another scatter.
Dream's here now.
They found Claire this time. The fights just keep on going. The heal comes through. And now it's going to be Order forcing Chiefs away. Look at those health bars. They're so low. Swiffer just looking for a stray ball. It's only back again.
Just constant back and forth, such a delicate balance right now. The constant skirmishes, the constant fighting. Swiffer.
And they turn to Claire once more. Jake picks up the kill. So Order even out 1-1.
And 0-2 is the mid laner of the Chiefs. This is getting worse and worse for him. Swiffer just getting constant leads. And the thing is, it's not just the deaths, it's the experience difference in this middle lane. Look at everything that Claire is missing. Look at all of these waves, these minions that'll be lost. It'll be level 6 soon for Swiffer, in contrast to a level 4 of Claire, who is walking it back to lane.
And elsewhere, things aren't going a whole lot better. You have CS advantages for Order on the top and the bottom side.
Tally just hit 6 and Swiper is still 4. Thankfully for him, he'll catch the wave and tick over to 5. But those experience leads actually force priority and force tempo around the map. And as it stands, Tally has vision priority. He has the level advantage. And if Zach comes up here, he's probably just going to walk away because that Zach is still in the level 3.
That's really going to slow things down on the Chiefs side. They're going to have to find answers and find them quick. Really, just Order are playing out of their minds. And I wonder if this is even their final form, to be honest.
You know, as someone who had to suffer to Order yesterday in the Gauntlet, this makes me feel a little bit better. Because Order are just playing absolutely out of their minds.
I mean, they've done it against Mammoth, they've done it against Avant, and they're doing it again against the Chiefs Esports Club. And you know, this is what running the Gauntlet looks like, Rusty.
And that's the thing, you know, if Order showed up to the Gauntlet in their regular season form, they probably wouldn't have made it out of the Mammoth round.
They barely made it into the Gauntlet. I mean, the team that they're on the verge of sweeping assisted them in.
But they have gone above and beyond expectations, and Chiefs are now the ones that need to really dig deep. And that's not just about digging deep with in-game skill, it's about mentally digging deep right now, especially as someone like Claire, 0-2, really struggling in this game. It is against an opponent that is very strong, very fed. The item advantages that he has as well. This doesn't get easier for Claire, but his responsibility in this team is still very crucial. He is the magic damage, and he is 0-2, so the opposing team can just stack armor if he doesn't step up. That was a Kled ult, by the way.
Yes. Charge!
But it wasn't the real Kled.
It was Tally. I wonder, wait, so normally he's sort of like rolling in on Scarl? I wonder what it looks like when
You're just
Silas
a specter of the champion.
So he just has like a ghost Scarl.
He just looks like Kled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not as exciting as you want it to be.
I mean, some of them are pretty exciting.
It really, like, all that happens when you use those ultimates is if it involves movement, you just become that champion for the movement. Which is a shame.
Yeah,
It'd be very
that's
funny to
too
watch
bad.
Silas actually, like,
Just
sprint.
like bouncing on like a giant Scarl ball.
I was hoping he'd, like, Usain Bolt.
Yeah. Just going. Well, actually, I feel like he'd be more like, you know that, like, that thing that people are doing where they're... Oh, hold on. I'll go back to it in a second. Because it looks like Only's going for the play down onto the bottom side. There's Jake looking to knock it up. A Dream is left alone for a second. He gets the Ignite onto Ayla as Spook starts to come in.
6.
That's Chiefs really making a big play in the bot side.
Yeah, and it's a play of necessity as well, and it's Raze that's able to make that play happen. Little intercept potentially there from Swiffer. Not going to find the mark. Bot lane is the saving grace. Raze, he will do everything in his power to win this game, and Raze is a freak. He is so good at League of Legends that giving him any kills is giving them the potential to win the game, and that's scary.
It's a good start for the Chiefs bottom lane for sure. That gives them a little bit more to work with. The gold lead still at about 1,000, still significant in this early game, but Chiefs trying to arrest the momentum best they can. Spooks is going to chase Only out of his own jungle. Meanwhile, Swiffer looking to push Claire back even further. It's just lots of movement around this map, Only going up towards the blue side. Tally's even going to challenge him for it as he dashes forward and gets the abduct, the abscond. Now he's on to Only. The chains keep on whipping, forcing the blast cone away.
Nothing
Order,
is free.
Own it.
Nothing is free on the top side of the map when Tally is here. Swiper was already demounted on his skull there as well, so the coward ran away, which means that Tally gets the entirety of the lane prior to move towards the blue buff, and the timing, brilliant. The blue buff given a Tally as well, so it does not get better up there.
No, it does not. Tally's making a run of it. And speaking of running, yeah, what I was going to say is I feel like he's more like one of those Naruto cosplayers that just runs with his arms behind him. As we got another big fight down on the bottom side. Dream's caught out again, so Raze is going to be able to find a second. And now they might even be able to get further, looking for Jake. He just walks away. Barely.
Ayla, I don't think that was ever in range, super tragically for him, of course, but they don't get the kill. The second kill, they still get the first one. Dream now 0-2. And during the regular season of the OPL, you would always look at the bottom lane of Order and say, if you want to beat them, you need to beat them in this area of the map. The Chiefs have put everything towards that in this game.
trying to get what they can. Turret plate does fall. 10 minutes in. Chiefs' one advantage is this bottom side. Gotten 2 plays now. Off the backs of solid ganks with only. And
They have
better 2v2 play.
Honestly, they have so much to kill him, though. You know, Raze is not going to be fighting a regular front-to-back game of League of Legends. They have a Silas, they have a Syndra, even the Rakan being able to flash on top of his face as well. And he is a low mobility AD carry that will be so flash reliant. And honestly, will need the QSS as well at some stage to survive. But if he does, the damage will be significant. It just requires a masterclass from Raze in AD carry. And what better AD carry to show us what he's made of.
Order do get a fair bit of advantage here while the backs had gone on for Chiefs. The Infernal Dragon has been pulled out of the pit even. It's pretty low, but so is Spooks, unfortunately, and they're going to need some assists. It could be a smite fight going down, as Only is here. He actually just hops away, opts out of it, so Order picked themselves up the first Infernal, I believe, of the series.
Yeah, no opportunity to get in there Only. Perhaps could have looked for the steal, but opts away from it completely. Doesn't want to take the risky decision, and what is the value in risk when 0-2 down?
Uh-oh,
Jake is stunned.
Flash, everything lands on top of him. Raze taking kill number 3. We see the power of the Chiefs AD carry. Spooks is here. Trying to fight this out. Chiefs might just go for the fight. Now he's gone.
Yeah, it's the bot lane dive. Dream has to leave. There is no value in him staying under that turret because he would just be killed as he stood there. Raze has the big item spikes too. Now 3-0. And Claire is going mid.
Unleash the power onto Swiffer. He's trying to get the heck out of there. Claire taking pretty low, but meanwhile, there's still another fight going on in this river, and that is a big old quickness coming out of Jake, but will it be enough? Only flashing away Swiffer, taking down Claire off screen as it happens, and that Rakan is just duck, diving and dodging, but Chiefs are still making moves for the play here. Low health bars, but no one else has gone down. Tally on the front line looking for more. Swiper pulls out the pocket pistol, I should say. Spook comes back forward.
Got him.
And that's going to be the Zach Blobs going down. Spook's getting the kill. Swiffer, the collapse, the turn. Once more, Order finding the fight they needed. Swiffer taking the kill onto Swiper, and they've got even more damage. The feathers are flying, and Order come out ahead.
And Raze flashes aggressively just to get a kill, 4-1, but they shut him down. They ace the Chiefs at 12 minutes. Such a back and forth fight, constantly bickering who's going to make the play. And Only and Spooks are the two really duking it out where the difference is made. Spooks being able to get the blobs out, and suddenly the fight goes the way of Order.
Oh boy. Right now, Order are putting on such a show here. 3,000 gold lead at 13 minutes. Infernal Dragon in their pockets. The only threat that they seem to be having to worry about right now is Raze. He's got no summoners. Here's that fight again. They just did not stop until everyone was dead.
Yeah, Jake tries to charm everyone up he possibly can. Honestly, he does connect with all of them. So very well played from the support of Order, being able to scrape away with 0 health to his name. So potion running, he'll be relevant. Now look at Spooks and Only, because as everyone else is trading health bars, no one is committing. But as Only tries to look towards getting over the wall, perhaps, waiting for those cooldowns, he's just taken down, waiting for mana Spooks. And then for the follow-up on this fight, the fact that Jake stayed alive with 0 health to his name is the fight win. No matter how hard Raze tries there, the Varus ultimate being stolen.
And we're not done with fights. Swiffer is going to get the heck out of there. I think he's going to get rooted down, though, and Chiefs collapse on top of him. They should be able to shut him down, and that's more gold into the pocket of Quinny K. It's a shutdown on Swiffer.
It is a one-man army from the Chiefs against everybody from Order right now. The first death of the game for Swiffer, but keep your eyes on Raze.
All right, got those Chains of Corruption on, looking for Dream. The damage is there for Raze. They get the bounce back, and that's a shutdown. This time it's picked up by Only, and Jake, he's limping away. Do they have the damage to finish him, or is he leading him on a wild goose chase? It looks like it's going to be Claire coming through, and he just tries to give it over to somebody that won't have as big of an impact. But they end up deciding to give it to Claire anyways.
Eventually.
Still walking. Only will take it.
Only decides he's had enough. He's going to get sick of trying to chase that kill that never happened down there in the bottom lane, so they give too much time for Order on the top side. They're sprinting up, however, Order. Kled has the ultimate, and watch how Order plays this. They should probably back away and respect their opponents having the numbers advantage, and they do.
Walking away from it this time. Things are still crazy. 15 kills in 15 minutes, Rusty. Game 3 of the penultimate game of the OPL Gauntlet here in 2019. Couldn't ask for much more.
And there is just so much fight in the signs here. The Chiefs They will go down swinging if they go down at all. Raze has something to say about that. I think that much is for certain. And only now 3-1 and 2. After the start that he had, definitely bouncing back in this game. And that's the thing. We needed one person to step up from the side of the Chiefs and the auxiliary members. We needed a jungler or a support to step up. They both are playing a lot better in this one. And they're empowering someone on their team. While it isn't good for mid, while it isn't the best for top lane, they still have a win condition.
Chiefs, though, big expectations on this team. They need to start by getting a win back up against Order. Order might be red hot running this gauntlet right now. But Chiefs, they cannot afford to not drop another one. It looks like the big fight's coming through. It's a big old charge in Order. I don't know if they were ready for it, but they are ready to turn it right around. Dream takes out Claire to kick things off, and Swiper is just going absolutely ham into the back line, but he's run out of teammates right now. Raze and Ayla are there. However, Order strong enough to turn around. They get the abductive gone. Looking for Raze, trying to take the damage onto him, chunking his health bar out. Spooks gets that final shot, and Swiper is still going for it with the violent tendencies. The pocket pistol's there. However, it's another ace.
Order just continue to win these team fights. That was so close for Swiper getting his mount back, however, and maybe getting himself out. But Order, they get the team fight, they get the mid lane turret, they get the gold lead. And how good is Tally?
What an absolute beast. Those chains landed exactly where they needed to, and using the Kled ultimate against Chiefs.
And they do this without Raze nearby. He's running down the river, buying time as best they can. Chiefs Dream super low. He goes down to Swiper. The second Raze gets here, just keep your eyes on Tally, because he's able to hit the chains here. Long range, max range as well. And that's why Raze goes down. Just that simple. That single member steps up. And Swiper does get the kill, is about to remount, but goes down.
He's doing all he can, big swips for sure. But for right now, Order's still winning these fights. 2 aces in 17 minutes as well.
That was definitely a battle of the top laners, that fight, but you have to remember that the mid laner and AD carry of Order had done so much damage. You know, Swiffer free hitting that entire time is 5-1 and 6. Even though Dream dies, he actually hits a full feather combo on 3 people as Syndra stuns them. And, you know, this game is still well and truly teetering on the nice edge, but Order have so much control over Summoner's Rift. And if they just kill Raze, that's all that matters.
He is the team fight win condition for Chiefs. He's gone down twice now. Still 2 items. Still very powerful. Blade of the Ruined King, Quinsu's Rage Blade. But if Order can shut him down, then they can certainly win those fights. And it's coming up aces right now. Order controlling this mid lane. They have the prio. Possibly looking for the Rift Herald. It was started earlier in this game, but had to be peeled off as Chiefs spotted them out. But they don't really need to take it at the moment.
It would do wonders for them, however, breaking a side lane turret instantly. They're looking for top lane, so you would expect they want to go for Rift Herald, but they would rather stop the Chiefs from letting them fight for it.
It's been another one of those low tower games, high kill games, and, well, I mean, high kill's an understatement.
I'm so here for it.
It's amazing. This is some knockdown, drag-out League of Legends. You
Sport
can't ask for much
sits there
more.
and he's like, you know, his team's called Order. They don't want to play Chaos style of League of Legends. They want to play slow and methodical. But as someone that loves creating chaos in my team, let me tell you, this is my League of Legends right here. I'm a big fan.
I'm glad you stand it. Looks like we got ourselves another Rift Herald fight. Swiffer around the side has Flash, and here comes Spooks. The teleport's coming from the opposite side. The claw's not taken as they turned on to Swiffer. This is still an aggroed Rift Herald as Swiper's coming in to try to make the play here. This is going to be the chance for Chiefs to try and shine. Looking into the back line, taking down Swiffer. No, he doesn't fall. And now the second wind coming through. Tally's an absolute madman. Spook starts out by taking down Ayla. Swiper's going to fall and only has got no friends left to defend. Dream even coming into this one. That's going to be the Zac bouncing back, but he brings Jake, and that's still dangerous. It's a 2-for-1 trade.
And somehow during all of this, Dream just picked up the Rift Herald as well, so hardly joins the rest of the fight on the backside. Chiefs, they teleport in. They use their flashes forwards. That was the fight they needed to win, and they don't.
Every time, it looks like they're going to make a solid effort. They're going to put in a big play, but Order just outplay, and here is the fight again.
And the Varus ult hits, the Braum Q hits, and Swiffer simply flashes away. Tally is the person to watch. He steals the Varus ultimate, gets the Aftershock, and just goes in with Jake, and basically one-hits the AD carry of the Chiefs. Someone that is the MVP of this team right now. They need to keep him alive. Out of the fight, means that they do not win the fight. And just that simple right now for the Chiefs. They are in real struggle street right now with all the kill threat that exists against Raze.
And there is so much riding on the line in this game because if Chiefs can't pull it off, they are swept out of the Gauntlet. Chiefs have not missed the OPL Finals since 2017. This is huge right now. Order have already put in the performance of a lifetime, but they keep it going. And now Tally 1v1ing on the side lane. These two top laners, man, they are real scrappy.
I mean, to put it simply, this is the Order that you expected to see last year when they had the superstar team put together. You didn't get to see that from them. They had Jake, they had Dream as well. And suddenly they find themselves in playoffs after a shaky regular season. And shaky, I feel like, is an understatement. They went 1-6 in the second round robin during the regular season, losing to every team except Direwolves. And then they bounce back like this. You would not believe it.
You certainly would not. What a story this Gauntlet has been so far. Order looking to run it all the way to the end. Dream heading up to the top side, trying to cut off Claire. He should get his back away. No, it stopped! The Blade Caller. Claire's going to be in trouble. Look at Jake predicting it! Oh, man, it's just too easy.
There's all the feathers there as well, so no problems whatsoever. Kills secured. Order. They stop the recall. They do a blind. And then they're able to pick up the kill for it. They knew he was basing, just not exactly where. And now the Baron's on the cards. They could just hide in the vision. They don't even necessarily need to start it. The Chiefs have to check this regardless.
And they're going to do it. Looks like Order are going to be ready to peel off, though. They go and charging straight into the wall of Ayla. Only trying to flank around the side, but this is just absolute destruction right now. On the front, Order cannot be stopped. I don't care about your pocket pistol swiper. That is going to be the near wipe here. And Order right back to Baron business.
And an absolute massacre right there. Order just gets the Kled ultimate. They steal it from Swiper and they use his signature pick against them. They take them all down. Only was sitting on the flanks. And you can see Tally's hunting, trying to find that Zac. What pushes he in? What they don't know is he's conceded this completely. And it's just a free Baron and they've earned it.
I mean, they paid the iron price for it. If last game was a boxing match, well, this one's the kangaroo kick straight to the chest. Chiefs are in trouble.
This Baron may well be the thing that ends the game for them as well. They are pumped. Right now, I just want to see Spooks in the player camera for the rest of the game, if you ask me. He's the man that gets yelly when they win team fights. He's the one that will pop off.
But look at that. He's calm, cool, collected right now. And you've got to think how big this is for the boys from Melbourne.
And you can't tell me, Pyra, at this stage in the game, if you're Order, that you think you've got it in the bag. And here's why.
Absolutely not.
Raze exists. And now, there's no matter how many times I say this, it will still be true. He can win.
It's what Spawn said. It doesn't matter until the Nexus is down for the third time. Order have done it twice. They're making a great play of it, but there is always that potential for Raze to be the hero. So keep your eye on him. He's got himself a QSS, try to survive a little longer here, but that has delayed some of his other item buys. At 23.5 minutes, Order, they've got the Baron buff, they've got the Dragons, they've got the fight, but Chiefs are still mustering, ready for battle. Look at Claire on the flank.
That is a big flank from Claire. They don't have vision placed, and Claire actually knows it, only unfortunately has to ult, but they're looking.
Pulls Spooks back, and Spooks, excuse me, Tally, but he just doesn't care. Meanwhile, the rest of Order take down another tower. Here comes Claire. Who is he going to ult, though?
He needs to find Dream. He needs to find Swift, and they're going.
It looks like it. They get the two-man quickness on, and Only's going to get popped down before Claire can even get the play onto Swiffer. He's going to be able to get out of that real quick like with the cleansing play, and Spooks making an escape as well. Order just cannot be stopped. There is no chaos that can deny them.
There's no health remaining, however, from Order, so the Chiefs on this reset, they get the home guard buff. They would sprint at the Order boys. So they'll take the inhibitor, and they'll have to back away. They'll have to reset, but an inhib is still a victory, and that is still a big momentum swing for the Order lads. They are in the driver's seat.
They certainly are, and they're running this one all the way into the end. It's a massive gold lead of 8,000 plus. There is still the threat. There is still the possibility from Raze, but it is getting dimmer and dimmer. That hope is diminishing by the minute as Order are knocking on the doors to victory, trying to shut the Chiefs out of the finals.
And Raze was free hitting in that last fight. If that was an even game state, Chiefs may have aced them. You know, they had the flank, they had the tanks in front, they gave space to their AD carry, which is hard to do when it's a Varus against all of the damage, all of the gap closing that is there. this next fight, wherever it ends up happening, there is a lot of summoner spells missing from everybody. But Raze has Flash, and Tally has Flash, and so does Swiffer. Those 3 members, they're the ones you have to look at. Because even though Tally is 0 through 15, if he finds the chains onto Raze, it's over.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he doesn't have to get the kills. He's still been a part of so many of them and so many of these plays anyways. And you know how Order are feeling confident? You got a Medjay Soul Stealer in the pocket of Swiffer.
If Swiffer stacks up 6 spheres on the ground and just flash ults Raze, I think he's out of the fight. He's got a Merc Treads and a QSS. He has magic resistance.
You can't QSS that.
But that's just too much damage. You cannot QSS damage.
All right, Chiefs trying to deny this push on bottom side, but they've been forced to send Claire to contest mid as well.
Only spotted.
Here's Tally around the side as well. Looks like there's the channel for Only trying to hop. Looks like he will opt to go in for it, denied by Spooks. And he goes bouncing back without anybody to show for it. That cannon creep still doing work.
Brilliant from Spooks. They know exactly where the Zac has to be. The positioning's correct, and he just presses Q and interrupts it.
All right, Baron buff is down, but it doesn't matter as Order just keep on moving in. And look at this, Tally on the top side, Tally in the mid, I should say, still pushing minions forward.
He's got the
Steals Alessandra ult. They've got a stun off onto Ayla. Order backing away, denying the engage attempt. Meanwhile, just chipping away at inhibitor number 2. They get it, and they get out.
The attempt was cute there from Spook, something akin to LCS plays that we have seen this split, but he doesn't actually get to split the wickets there, so he just finds the tank.
As Bryce might say, big swing, no ding.
I would say big swing, rather large ding, just not on the target you were after.
There's not much of a ding then, is it?
Big clunk.
There you go. Doesn't have the same ring. Oh man, but Chiefs, every time it looks like they're going to be able to make a big play, Order have been able to deny them. This team is playing so beautifully. And all they need to do is knock down the Nexus.
What's the next Baron? 1 minute and 20 seconds should be the deciding factor in this game. If Order get the Baron, you would say that is it. That should be game over.
Chiefs will have to fight him at it.
Chiefs will have to stand and deliver at that Baron. But Order, with the amount of control they have, with the gold lead that they have, very much poised to just suffocate their opponents out, control the wards, don't even give them entry to the river as the Baron spawns.
Man, how good is this Order team? I feel like even Bomber's got to be watching this right now and starting to feel a little nervous.
Palms are sweaty. Absolutely. They're on a tear. That momentum terrifies everybody, and they should be scared, Bombers.
If Order put this game away, they'll have gone through the Gauntlet with only dropping a single map.
Yep.
In the entirety of it, and that is just such an insane statistic.
It is shocking. Kled's ulting, they're going
for the play. Spooks has already flashed out of this one. The big charge in for Swiper. Instant exhaust is down, and now they turn. Looking for him. He goes golden. Tally looking to rejoin the fight here, but it's already been denied. The engage already spent here from the Chiefs side. Tower.
Dream!
Pretty low, and Dream's going forward on that Feather Storm, and they're taking Raze out of the fight. They just need to put this one away, but the second win coming in for the Chiefs. It's going to be a shutdown. Dream taken out of this one now, only looking for Tally on the opposite side. They just might have done it. Spooks is a little too low. Swiper on the last of his health bar, and Jake trying to knock him out of this one. Spooks tagging forward, going back. It looks like he's going to be knocked down. And into the pocket pistol, he's able to walk away, trying to dodge. Swiffer takes him out of this one. It's a 2-for-2 trade.
But the inhibitor is in threat as well. Claire should be able to push them away. They should be able to save the inhibitor, and they do. That was the most clutch play possible from Swiper and from the Chiefs. They needed that miracle to stay in this game. They absolutely did.
He gave them everything they needed right there, but they need to do it many more times, Rusty.
Yep, because all that did was delay the Baron.
And there's still super minions on 2 lanes at the moment, so this is going to be real rough for Chiefs. They are going to be making a beeline for the Baron.
They've got one option, Pyro. If they don't hit this Baron, then they concede the Baron. Raze is sprinting up. They will lose. They will lose Nexus turrets, honestly, as a price for this.
But look at the collapse, the pincer blade, the teleport! Tally's going for it! He's into the base, and now he's going to contend with Swiper. Chiefs, all of a sudden, they realize the game might be up. They're going to have to turn for the fight right now. Jake has even joined in on the 2v1 effort, and it's just Nexus. Forget the fight. They're going to take the game. Swiper hops off the Scarl, and that will be the game. That will be the series. Order sweep aside the Chiefs Esports Club and set themselves up for a finals match with Bombers.
And it feels like a date with destiny here for Order. Very well-deserved run of the Gauntlet. They have completed the Cinderella story that people in the past have not been able to do. And they've actually put themselves into the finals against the Bombers next week. 3-1 against Mammoth, 3-0 against Avant, and 3-0 against the Chiefs. The unexpected run. They've managed it.
I can't believe it. 1 game dropped in 10. A run of the Gauntlet. As you said, at a date with destiny up against Bombers, and I don't think the Bombers are going to be feeling too good about having to go up against an Order in that form.
It's something similar today as well. You know, the thing is, there is a week of reset, so the momentum does get halted just that little bit. But right now, Order, they have done what you would call the impossible when you look at their regular season performance. And they've put themselves through an incredible Gauntlet run into the finals itself.
I can't believe it. I mean, what else is there to say? Everyone stepped up and delivered. From the drafting, which has been brilliant on both sides of the rift, from Tally, side lane or playing with the team, Spooks setting up engage after engage. I could just run down the list constantly. It's been so impressive from all 5 members.
And of course, Swiper against his old team here. Well-deserved hugs coming out. Now, Swiper played his heart out, but at the end of the day, you have to respect the way that Order played. They were the best team on the day, and they've been the best team in the Gauntlet so far. But a devastating loss for the Chiefs.
It is. You know, they're going to be missing the OPL finals for the first time in 4 splits, and that definitely feels bad to break that kind of streak. Chiefs, honestly, we could have expected them to be one of the not guaranteed, but as close to it, finalist teams. Bombers probably being the other one, and before the split, maybe Mammoth.
You know, the only improvement that I could hope to see from Order is in their interview. Hopefully we have coherence coming out of them, because otherwise they're pretty good.
I think you're probably right about that. Well, you know, we'll get to that one in just a bit, but, you know, Order, they are hotter than some McDonald's hotcakes, man.
We don't believe in labels at Macca's, like dinner or breakfast, so we're getting rid of them. Now you can enjoy dinner or breakfast whenever you want it. McDonald's all-day menu, available 24/7.
What is going on? I don't understand it.
Do you understand
Some things. This is something that we genuinely haven't seen before in the OPL. I feel like we have seen teams, Legacy have tried to run the Gauntlet, Sin, they've come excruciatingly close, but this is the 5th seed, genuinely like dropping a single map and making it all the way to the grand finals. Like, we genuinely have not seen this happen before in the OPL, and like, Order just look bloody good across the board.
You can't even talk.
I can't talk.
He can't talk. Let's quickly recap this, because we've got some interviews, we've got some very excited people in the room. Is silence enough to Order win a draft on that?
Oh, absolutely. I think that, you know, I don't call teams out very often, but I think that if you're a pro team and you can't play Silas, like, you have to respect and you have to ban it. And I think that that was one of the biggest disrespects in like a deciding game I've ever seen. Tally gets 2 flashes, level 1. That alone is enough to win you a game, like if you're a good team, especially when it's on key members. Then with all the priority that Silas gives you, they invade first blue buff. Then they invade second blue buff. And like, he just has control of the whole top quadrant of the map by himself as a solo person. And that game could have got scarier, because he was 0-0-10 at one point.
Yeah.
If he was 10-0-0, like, he just kills everyone. And those kills were genuinely within his grasp, like, most of the time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I feel like, I mean, you can hit on the draft, but I feel like over the course of the day, like, Order have just played incredibly well. It's multiple things. It's all of the different members. You can point to Tally over the course of the Gauntlet, and be like, man, this guy has actually played incredible. You can point to Dream, something like that. He stepped it up massively, but just across the board.
Jake's Rakan, actually, like, he saved our draft. We had so many champions that we needed to unlock, and the fact that we found Rakan during the week and Jake has played it to like the highest level that you can play the champion, like, either means that we get such a good engage tool, which frees up both Tally and Spooks to be able to do different jobs, but also like, it means that if they want to get rid of it, he has other champions that he still plays very high, Morgana, Braum, and like, I think like that was so big for this Gauntlet solo that was a pick that he was able to find.
Jake is secretly one of the best players in the OPL.
Absolutely. I've been saying for a very long time, like, he played on an Avant Gaming lineup that didn't have any stars.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, he was the star of that lineup. And he took Sin Gaming to 5 games, like, multiple times. And at Origin, every single year, like, when Victoria picks him up, he's able to perform. And not only that, off the rift, he is genuinely one of the best teammates I think that exists in the OPL. He is such a good stand-up guy. Like, I am so happy for him that he's got this success.
Let's talk about Chiefs, though. Raisin only, stepping up in this game, particularly in the early game there, taking it to order. It feels like half of those team fights were everyone is on like 1/3 health.
Yeah.
And it's on a knife edge.
This was a game that, like, you take a look at the gold lead, given that Order literally wiped Chiefs and aced them twice by like 25 minutes, the gold lead was still within like 2,000 gold. And like a lot of that was down to Quinny K in the bottom lane. Like he had a huge advantage. Like this is a Varus as an answer to Zyra Khan that we haven't seen a lot. He gets dropped in draft and picks that one up, and he was the one-man army that Chiefs like needed to get back into the game. And that was kind of the story of this series, I feel like. It was really a cohesive team, whereas Chiefs always had like one person that really needed to stand up. It was Claire on the Yasuo. This game, it was like Raze. He played the game one. Ezreal, this time it was the Varus, but they really relied on him. But one man is just not enough. He tried his best, but when a Syndra gets 10 stacks on Medjai's, can just walk at you, there's not much he could do.
But it was nearly enough. Like, he is such a superstar. Like, watching Raze play the game, he gets so much out of anything he plays. He's so talented, and I feel like he really commands that bottom lane. And it's a young bottom lane. Everyone, like, this is Ayla's rookie season. He's going to play so much more best of fives. Like, I have nothing but respect for Raze. I think that he's, like, an out-and-out superstar. He's, like, legitimately probably one of top 3, like, players in the OPL right now. And, like, today he looked so clean. And, like, some of those fights, he was free hitting, and, like, you give him half an item more, he, like, wipes Order.
All right, a devastating loss for the Chiefs, an incredible win for Order, and at the desk we have arguably the MVP of the split and the coach who, after winning Game 3, walked out of the room and just quietly went, wow. It's Choo-Choo's and Tally.
You don't get much better introductions than that. Gentlemen, you guys have just run the gauntlet. You've bought yourselves a ticket to the grand finals next week. First off, just for both of you, how does it feel?
Oh, like, I don't really like know like how to put it in words, because coming in on the Thursday it was like, let's play slow and controlled, like let's not boom early games, and all of a sudden we get to the Saturday and like we're the ones booming early games, and like we've kind of done a 180, and like whatever's working for us is just working, and like whatever.
Yeah, it's incredible. I think Bryce mentions that no one's run the gauntlet. Like we saw, like when I was a player, like I think a lot of pros know that like C9 especially in TSM were like known to come in like 5th, and then they run the whole thing, and then sometimes they win it. It's quite surreal knowing that like we're among them now. Like we have the ability to like run the entire thing.
You've joined some pretty legendary ranks now, and you know I guess I just have to ask, like, how have you pulled this off so consistently? Because every single day you've gone up against tougher and tougher competition, and you just swept away the Chiefs. Like, how did you do that?
I think I just put it down to really good prep. I feel like every single time we've come into the best of fives, like every single pick or like scenario we've been put in is something that we've planned, and it always feels like we're playing with the confidence of knowing like this is their next move and stuff like that. So I think our prep and like the way that we trained coming up to this was really good.
I feel like the draft has to have a lot with that too. I mean, Choo-Choo's, how proud are you of the team taking the comps that they have been drafted to just deliver it perfectly every time?
Yeah, I think I'm so proud of everyone. I think everyone had like a good standout game, and when someone like fell down, like in game 1 or game 2 when Spooks fell down, like everyone did a good job. I was listening in, like built him back up, like Ronan in the last game Dream. So everyone put in like 110%, and like we just played like a very strong team, and hopefully like we can continue building that into Bombers.
Yeah, I feel like for Order specifically, you guys have this where you're not always relying on a single player. It always kind of does go back and forth. If somebody does fall down, as you mentioned, someone else kind of steps up to it. Was that something you were building the team towards this entire split?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I think that we've always struggled to find like the core of our identity as a team, because we had 2 new recruits in our bot lane, and I think that like over the course of the split, we've been struggling and testing different things. And I think it was only up, as you said, like a prep coming into Mammoth, that we really started to like hit the nail on the coffin and realize like, this is what we do. Like, this is what we do best. Like, let's draft for this team. Like, let's exploit their weakness. So every single game, Mammoth, AV, Chiefs, like we just came in knowing what we were going to play, and we were confident in ourselves.
All right. Well, you got one final boss ahead of you, Tally. You got anything you want to say to Bombers?
Well, like specifically, like I'm really happy to play against Vic and Rogue, because like they left us at the beginning of the year, so it's really I'm really happy that I get to verse them in the finals, because like I'm happy for them for their success, and happy that I can also get revenge on them. So like specifically to like Vic, like don't launch me in bot lane.
All right, that's it. Congratulations once more to Order for sweeping the gauntlet going into that final match. Let's send it back over to the couch to close us out.
I mean, at this rate, Order want finals tomorrow, right? Like, you want to build on this feeling.
Yeah, I wouldn't say no if Ryan offered it to me right now. I would say keep the momentum rolling, I think. But I keep going back to it. I don't know whether you can figure this out. Because this is a team playing good League of Legends. So as long as we stay, grounded and level-headed, I think that this is something you can continue. And it's not like the Bombers are sitting there with a notepad going like, okay, we need to ban X champion, and they do, this funky level 1, and it's getting them tons of advantages. Like, Order's just playing well at the moment. And I think, if they can keep that consistent form, they have a shot versus Bombers, and that's all you can ask for going into a grand final.
Yeah, of course. And I feel like this is now the reality of all the hypotheticals we talk about running the Gauntlet. I think Order have so many advantages. You see a couple of the conversations happening on social media, like, why do you think people are so successful in like getting from 5th like further up? And it's a multitude of reasons, and like every best of 5 develops its own little like in-house meta. And now Order, for a region that has just moved to best of 1, we don't know who is a good best of 5 team because everybody has changed. Now Order is a good best of 5 team. Bombers, we have absolutely no idea what they're going to look like. We haven't seen them play League of Legends for a week. Like at the back end of the split, like people were pointing to different things, and you really just don't know what to expect. Whereas Order are now just a very scary known quantity in a format that nobody else has practiced.
Do you feel like Order are finding some of their success due to the fact that it feels like they're not playing in a finals mentality? They're not playing, like, they're getting those results, but they seem to be playing calm. They seem to be playing level-headed. It's like it's almost like it's a scrim as opposed to feeling that immense pressure of the Gauntlet.
I would say yes. And the 2 players I would point to specifically, it's easy for me because I have the personal experience, but Spooks and Swiffer, when you look at their Gauntlet run last time, I remember this one play where like Spooks is on Olaf and I just see him running into his death and I'm like, he's freaking out. Like he's like, I need to do this now or we're going to lose the game. And this is completely differently. Like I was saying upstairs, like there's all these little interactions, and when you take a player out of a competitive environment and put them in solo queue, they get to play with music, they get to do their own stuff. They hit it every single time. They're hitting all these things every single time in a competitive game where they're playing for a final spot. Like the pressure doesn't seem to be there, and it shows.
And I think that, the one thing I will say is that Order are playing comps without clocks. They're playing things like Silas that just get better as the game goes on. Like a 16-second ulti when you can have all 5 of their ultis. What a ridiculous champion. Please nerf him into the ground after next week. Vladimir doesn't have a clock. Xayah doesn't have a clock. These are all champions that as long as they're accruing gold and advantages, like they're always going to be strong in the game. And I think that, that also allows you as a player to change your mindset, because it's like, hey, we missed that punish. Like, it's not a big deal. They're going to make a mistake in 5 more minutes and we're still going to be strong there. When if you do play some comps that are on the clocks, and Order's been guilty for this throughout the year as well, it can feel bad when the window starts closing and you start getting desperate.
And Jake, it basically goes without saying that this Gauntlet run is not indicative of how the Chiefs are, who at times look like the best team in the OPL.
Yeah, absolutely. I have so much respect for the Chiefs organization. Was a part of it in 2014, obviously. Had helped them throughout like so many years. And, for people like Swiper and Raze, this one's going to be a real kick in the stomach because I know how competitive they are and I know how much they want it. But this is a team that brought in 3 new players, a rookie, only, in my opinion, still super young jungler, even though he's not that young as a person because hasn't been around that long. And I think they will get better. I think that this is not the best we've seen them, even though they were the best team in the OPL for a part of this split. So, it's going to feel like terrible right now, to be honest, but I have so much confidence that they have the support infrastructure to bounce back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like for a couple of the individual players, you mentioned only, like he is someone that has really come onto this roster and I think look completely different than we've seen him in the past. And I'm a support main, I'm hella biased, but Ayla is just incredibly impressive.
Ayla is the business.
He's come into this, to the OPL, hearing all the rumors about off-season or whatever, he was very hot property. And people were like, this guy is going to be good, and you see that why. This is his first rookie split. He has played the OCS before, but he just looks individually very good. He's making good team plays. He's not coming out just doing his stuff. It's a little bit of a mix of everything, and this is the kind of player you look at and you're going to be like, he is going to be a superstar, given some time.
Absolutely. Well, Order take out Gauntlet Day number 3, and in a fashion that none of us predicted, because if you look at the tips, none of us saw the 3-0 clean slate wipe.
Nah. Not a single one. Every single thing is wrong.
Everything is wrong there. Technically, there's 2 people who are correct there, but there no one gets the numbers, and apparently numbers are the only thing that matters in this stupid game.
How remarkable is it that a team that got into Gauntlet on head-to-head has just gone 9-1.
Yeah.
And swept a team that they were 0-3 against, and swept a team that they were 1-2 against. And the one game they won, they played Vayne mid for some reason. Like, I think you can literally chalk that victory up to that weird pick in the mid lane. Like, to me, that's honestly just blown my mind that Order have been able to elevate to that standard, because you were right. At the start of this week, I was like, whoever wins is just going to lose to Chiefs, and we're going to have a Chiefs-Bombers final, and it's going to be a great final. Now, who knows?
Yeah. Absolutely, like 100% agree across the board. Like Otter, you said the word elevate, and I feel like this is it. It is not their opponents underperforming. This is an Order that we just haven't seen all year in the last couple of years. For as long as they've existed, this is the best League of Legends they've been playing. And to go up against a team like like Bombers that have only dropped like so few games in the OPL so far, I feel like the final is going to be a cracker.
Absolutely. I don't think any of us saw this coming, and we could not be more excited about it. We are heading into Grand Final weekend next Saturday. It all starts at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, there is a viewing party happen, because no one should be watching this alone, most of all Jake. But if you want to hang out with like-minded people who just want to see an insane, I'm going to say 5 games.
5 games. I want 5 games.
I want 5 games.
Yes.
If I have one complaint about this weekend, it's that we're finishing at like 6:30 every night. The games are just like over.
Get back on track. Come on. Where is it?
There is a viewing party. It has been held by the Summoner Society. Head to os.lollysports.com to find out more information. Send Order your love. Send Chiefs your love. Send everyone your love. Hold the people you love close to you right now, because you don't know what's going to happen next week. Anything could happen. As Order have shown, all cards are on the table. Everything could be burnt. Imagine the transitions that Pyro's going to have to throw to the McDonald's, who we thank you very much for sponsoring us during this incredible Gauntlet week. We cannot wait to see you guys here next week for the grand final of Split 1 of the 2019 OPL.